And we are live. It is December the 16th at 8:07 p.m. We had to wait till the top of the hour, get the newscast out of the way, as Johnny says. It's radio style. So 5 past the hour. I'm here, and we have my good friend, the captain himself, Michael Smith, in the house. How you doing, brother?
Good, bro. How's everything? Hello, everybody out there. This is well, first of all, it's a good day in football land because the Steelers just beat the Patriots, so I'm happy.
Okay.
Anytime
you're happy, and John Biela's not happy.
Yeah, sorry, John, but anytime I can see Brady on his ass with tears in his eyes, I'm kind of happy.
Nothing wrong with that.
So how's it?
We got 20 people in here. Isn't that crazy? I'm just gonna bring up the chat here and
cool.
Do roll call. So if you want roll call, folks, say hello. We've got Metal Stage Center. Good to see you, buddy. I was on with him and Adam EVH last night. Metal Stage Podcast is back, buddy.
Cool, man.
Yeah, Adam EVH, there we are. We got Will in the house. Awesome. Some guy named Ben, I don't know. RJ's in the house. Quentin James is awake. Always good to see. Troy Harris, good to see you. Who else we got here? Earl Painter. My lovely sister Amanda, good to see you. JJ, good to see you, brother. Always. Awesome. Who else we got? We got Soda Pop in the house. We got some guy named Michael Smith.
Throw him out. He's useless.
He's got a wrench too. Jeez. Matthew Stewart. Hello, buddy. So yeah. Spent the day, did some holiday shopping today, and then I had my staff Christmas party this afternoon, and then here I am.
That must have been fun, the Christmas party, no?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had some Tommaso's pizza for the local people, the best pizza in town, like good Italian pizza. All right, well, maybe not compared to New York pizza, but you know what I mean. Like,
I was going to start going like this to you, you know, but that would be kind of rude.
Brian Stewart's in the house. Yeah, so we had some great pizza, Caesar salad, bunch of that Christmas dessert tray things like date squares and lemon squares and all kinds of sugar cookies and all that fun stuff. And then
you guys do like those white elephant gifts where you go ahead and just like give somebody something like ridiculous, like a pair of dirty socks or whatever.
I've done gag gifts in the past. I've done the Secret Santa thing. We didn't do a Secret Santa this year, but we got a bunch of oh, let me grab the bag. It's crazy. You'll freak out over this.
Cool, man.
This is the bag that came with the size of this thing.
Holy shoot.
So I think I'm good for snacks for a while. I got this lovely tray of chocolate-covered goodies.
Oh, wow. That looks good.
Yeah, all kinds of goodies in here, like pretzels and peanuts and almonds and all kinds of stuff. Oh, this is great.
Nuts.com, huh?
Nuts.com, yes. And then we have here a big bag.
Real quick, Nuts.com. We were watching Saturday Night Live Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When you have shreddy balls. And then at the end they say, okay, you know, next week we'll be talking about salty nuts. So I had to go there.
This is 10 single servings of trail mix. I love trail mix.
Cool.
Then you got a bunch of fruit leather, which is cool and healthy.
Is that a Canadian company, I'm guessing? Nuts.com or no?
Let's see. Here's a snacky sampler. Look at the size of this bag.
Man, oh man.
It says from Poppy Soul's Nut Shop circa 1929, 70 years later. We brought it online. Over 3,000 items carefully selected from healthy snacks to the unexpected. Nuts, seeds, chocolate, dried fruit galore. The best goodies on earth straight to your door. Our treats plus your pantry equal pure romance. They're guaranteed to make your taste buds dance. Thanks. Jeffrey the grandson, Kenny the dad, Sandy the uncle, and David the cousin.
That's cool, man. A family business. I love it.
But wait, there's more. Another Trail Mix variety pack.
Wow. And did everybody get a bag like that?
We all did, yeah.
Man, oh man.
And a new vaporizer as well.
There you go.
This is a different one than I normally use. This one uses how you say dry herb.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, they're worth like a couple $100.
Man, oh man. And this was all given out by your employer?
Yeah. Not too shabby, eh?
Dude, if I was living in Canada, I'd be working with you.
Yeah. Well, last year, what was it? The last couple of years, they had given us a little gift. Like at first, I got the first year was a Tim Hortons gift card for Tim Hortons coffee shop, like a Dunkin' Donuts gift card. Think of it that way, right?
Yeah. Tim Hortons.
Like, oh, yeah,
Burger King bought Tim Hortons.
Yeah, I've got them before. Yeah, I totally went to use it, and they're like, I bought a cup of coffee, and they're like, okay, you have $98 left on it.
God.
And so, and ironically enough, I'm not a fan of Tim Hortons at all. Like, for those who know, no, I'm not a fan. So I said, could you get me one for someplace else? I'd much rather have it somewhere else. Okay, no problem. Arden's Music, my sponsor and buddies, $100 gift card for them last year.
Oh, sweet, man. Well, why'd you buy with that? I'm curious.
I bought a looper pedal, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, because right at the same time, Richie had tasked me with a couple of new guitar solos. And up until that time, I'd only just done basically blues solos, minor pentatonic over a 1-4-5 pattern, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing like blue rodeo type stuff. So much more melodic. And I was like, I don't know how to solo over that. And I couldn't find any backing tracks. So I got the looper, just put in the chord progression, and I just sat there and just kept soloing over it for like 2 hours straight to figure out something. And then we showed band practice, and Richie's like, your looper pedal's working, isn't it, buddy? I'm like, oh yeah.
Dude, those loopers are awesome, man. I mean, it's you can be a one-man band. I mean, for practicing, it's an amazing pedal. I mean, it's
I think Terry called it. He goes, dry herb vape and lots of munchies.
He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the munchies, you know that much. Got a bag full.
Well, I haven't tried out the device, so we'll see.
Give it a shot, man. Spark it up. You don't have to twist it, just have to spark it. skip the step.
Oh. Let's see here.
So what'd you buy? Anything?
Harris says I may have the longest hair on YouTube.
Yeah, your hair is long, dude.
I haven't cut it in well over 3 years, so
that would be why. So what'd you buy when you went on your shopping spree? Anything interesting that
your
edge would like?
Yeah, I got a few. I saw some really cool stuff. Since my brother-in-law is not in the chat, I almost bought him the glass that Chevy Chase has in Christmas Vacation, the moose head for the eggnog.
Nice.
I saw that and I was like, oh man, that's cool. All right, now I got to remember how this thing works. Pull off the top. Oh yeah, it's all gold inside.
Ooh.
To vaporize. Here you go, folks. That's the inside of it. You pack in on this side. And then it heats up to 200 degrees centigrade and good to go.
Nice.
My sister throwing me under the bus in the chat. Always nice.
I just read it.
No comment. I'm a nice guy, honest. I had to mute my phone.
I saw that, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh, I see. Yes, because probably Scott is sitting next to her. So, yes, entertainment. I'm just realized I'm just looking down at myself. Oh, so, I was at the pawn shop, and I always like to get my self something for Christmas, so I'm always guaranteed something kind of cool. And I picked up...
Oh, here we go.
Well, it's kind of hiding right between these two Telecasters. I picked up a new-to-me amplifier, which is a very low-end, solid-state, likely would have been sold at a Kmart in the early 70s.
What's the name of it?
It is... Darius is the brand.
Never heard of it.
You wouldn't. Basically, there was a company in Montreal called Pine Amplifiers, and what they did was they built like 20 different brands of amplifiers for all your Sears and
Okay.
Kmart, stuff like that. And so they would buy all these amps. And I have a real soft spot for these amps because they have a unique tone. And I just dig them. So I picked it up. It was $40 Canadian. And it was marked down for 60% off on top of that.
Would they pay you to take it?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I thought, you know what? If it works, it works. If not, it looks cool. And
does it work?
And then, of course, I now have the Vox here. That is now a 112 Vox cab and a Pathfinder former amp, now just a head, that Richie gave me for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Is what he called the MacGy Vox.
Like MacGyver?
Yep. Yeah, because that started out as an AC-15, and somebody in Burlington, Ontario, gutted the amp out of it and just left it as a 112 cab. And then Rich discovered Lando, that's in the chat here. He said he's just in for a minute. Landon had done some videos on how to mod these Pathfinders. So he put in the top boost circuit from the AC-30. He did something else too.
Cool, man. So have you played it?
Yeah, I was playing with the Vox a bit. The wiring is really bad here, so I was picking up some interference. So
I
won't shoot a video on it until I get it a little bit cleaner sounding.
I'm talking about the one that they paid you to take.
No, not a chance yet, because I was playing with something else that I picked up today too.
Uh-oh, here we go. I'd be interested to hear how that thing sounds, because you said the 70s, right? Solid state.
Yeah.
What does it have? I mean, reverb? What are the knobs on it?
Well, let's take a look and see.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Something like that. That old, from...
Oh, and by the way, this does work quite nice. Just auto draw. It just heats it up.
Sweet.
Minimal vapor.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Tasty. All right. Well, of course, there has to be a guitar case wedged on the power cord already. Sure. I literally put it in place an hour ago. Oh. So check out this abomination.
Look at that thing. Oh my, it's got 4 knobs.
So we have 2 inputs. We have a volume, a treble, a bass, and a reverb.
Does have reverb. Okay.
Yep. On-off switch. Made in Canada. I can read that upside down. Registered trademark. Oh, it's a head. For other collectors of Canadian stuff, it's a head amp. Manufacturer is Darius. Apparently, there's a jack on the back for a foot switch even.
No way.
Yeah.
What size?
I'm going to put a power cord on it because the entire power cord is wrapped in electrical tape. So the rubber was starting to cure and crack.
Exactly.
You know it's Canadian because it has Robertson head screws in it, which if you're American, you don't even have those.
I guess I had, yeah.
Which are square-headed. If we can see those, there we are.
Okay.
It's like a gutted-out Phillips, which is actually the most superior style screwdriver. Let's see. Looks like it might even have a 12-inch speaker in it.
Is it a closed back, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what kind of speakers in it, actually.
10 whole watts. It says to disconnect the power cord before removing the chassis or replacing tube. That's always handy to know.
Is it 2 inputs, or that's just for 2 instruments, or is it different feed, like high gain, low gain, lead, something like that?
Who knows?
Oh, it just says input 1 and 2.
Like, I've always used input 1 on all my amps because I'm the only guy in it. And he always uses input 2 because he said there is, in fact, a difference, like a little more headroom or something like that.
Right, right.
Thank you, Terry. Nuts.com. And then I also picked up the Joyo Classic Flanger.
Oh, look at that. That's a Harriet jet on there, ain't it?
Yeah. And oh my, when you turn up the regen fully, I'd say 2/3 of your signal sounds very more phaser than flange, and then all of a sudden, the swoosh takes over and totally takes over the signal.
Oh, really? Cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's wild.
Gotta put that through your new amp.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I picked that up, $30 Canadian.
And in the pawn shop, you said, right?
Yep.
That's
Even had the box still.
Not wow. Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I had the choice of this, or I almost bought a Donner phaser, which was a micro-sized pedal, for $35. It's just a one-knob phaser with a toggle switch for modern or vintage. So I assume it's a Phase 90 and Phase 90 script all in one.
And did you check them out there and did you decide, or you just
no, I just picked them up because they have a 30-day return. So if I don't like it, I'll take it back. But yeah, because I take back pedals all the time, right? You can see that, right, Mike?
You have to build a new shelf.
Yeah, I was already thinking that I'm gonna make a small frame with a 2x4 or something, you know, just so I can put 2 rows now.
What's your favorite pedal up there? Because you have so many of them. I mean, what's your go-to pedal? You know, desert island pedal, if you will.
Well, ironically enough, none of those are my go-to because I also have a 14-pedal pedal board down on the floor.
That's your gigging board.
Yeah, yeah. If I rip a pedal off the board to take to a jam, generally I'd say it's probably my Electro Harmonix Crayon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it is basically the same as the Soul Food from Electro Harmonix, which is basically a clone, their idea of a clone, but instead of having volume, gain, and tone, they split it and have a bass and treble, so I get a little more adjustability.
Nice. Cool, man. Is that a PV down there? The screen's a little, it's my eyes.
Right here? Yep. That is an original 70s PV classic. So their idea of a Fender Twin, 50-watt, 212.
Sweet.
Traded an Epiphone Les Paul for it.
Did you really?
Yeah. I kept saying to the kid, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I want to do it. I'm like, okay.
At least you gave...
Apparently, this thing has auto shut off, too, which is nice.
Oh, yeah, so it's not just burning up.
Yeah, so it just keeps the material in there. We're learning, folks. Hey, Brad. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, it didn't burn at all. It's all just sitting in there.
There it goes. My chat froze for a minute. I just had to
lovely.
Restart it.
Steve, yeah, he's been watching my videos, you can tell. So is the pedal 1,000 Canadian, like $7 US? Because I've been doing some guitar demos, and I'll read off the price. I'm like, so it's 1,100 Canadian. I think that's like $4 US.
Yeah, you said $7 in the last video when you were playing the Telecaster.
Oh man, that thing was sweet.
That looked nice.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people on the reviews. They didn't like the sparkle. How did it look in person? Because you know, in a video, it
full on Gretsch. You know, it's
really?
that high, big metal flake, Gretchy orange awesomeness. Like, I guess some people don't like that, but I love it because as soon as I saw it, I was like, it makes sense. Gretsch and Fender, they're built in the same place. Like, you know, let's get it going. You know.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool. Speaking of Fender, I got a new toy I could break out if you'd like to get a game.
I just held this thing in my hand and it's got a vibrate feature, like, you know, the vibrate on your phone.
Does it really?
I was like, oh, I wonder when you can tell it's warmed up. It just went zing, zing, zing in my hand with green lights. Like, it's ready, buddy.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
So you can like have him just holding on to it, walking around, and then it gives you a zap saying, ready. Ready for intake. Cool, man.
That's awesome. I'm digging this thing more and more. Will asked, did I make a beer run? Not only did I make a beer run, but I laughed my ass off because in Canada, we buy 2 4s, right?
Yep.
So I go up, I return some empties, and I'm like, yeah, you know, 24 cans of blue. He's like, regular size? Yep. Leans into the microphone to call into the back because we have dedicated beer stores. He calls in the bag, goes, suitcase of blue, can. So they just call it a suitcase.
That's what
I was like, well, technically it's a Scarborough suitcase.
We call them suitcases. Is that so you guys return what do they give you? Like 5 cents, 10 cents? What do they give you per can?
10 cents a can, 10 cents a bottle. Now you can even return wine bottles and liquor bottles and get deposit too.
Oh, okay. Because here it has to be carbonated unless they've changed the rules. We don't have returns here in Colorado, but back in New York we did.
Yeah, it used to just be beer, and that was because the beer store is owned by the breweries. You know, because we don't sell in convenience stores, right? Well, we do now. Like just recently, a few Walmarts are carrying
So the
beer.
stores were literally just a distribution for each brewery.
Yeah, yeah, and it was the name of the store was called Brewers Retail, but everybody referred to it as the beer store. So around the late '80s, they just rebranded it as the beer store, and you always took back your empties because the breweries reused the bottles, right? Not with the whole. It wasn't anything to do with the environment or anything like that. It was a cost savings for the breweries,
right?
And then because of recycling being what it is now they do it with wine bottles, liquor bottles. But ironically enough, you buy your liquor and wine at a liquor store, but you have to return the empties to the beer store.
Okay.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
That's it's different. I mean, but I get why they were doing it. Obviously, they're saving tons of money by just recycling it themselves. Having you do it, actually, having a customer come in and bring it in.
Yeah. And yeah. I don't even return half my bottles. I put them in recycling because I know there's people that go around and pull them out of recycling that, you know, maybe they're down on their luck or whatever. So that's the way I see it. It's like, put them out there. If the people take them, fine. You know, it might even be the sorter at the recycling plant. He goes, "Hey, there's like $2 worth of empties." Well, take them, buddy.
Back in New York, I always took all my recyclables that you would return, and I put them out front, and a handful of people always came by and would pick them up. So I would just giving it back. I would just put it out there. And I mean, what is it? $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever it is. That makes a world of difference to those poor people. So they'd come around with their shopping carts that they stole from the local grocery store, and just pile in all the empties.
Sure.
So that's what I do.
I used to do the same thing. I used to keep all my pop cans because the tabs, and then I'd take them to a scrap metal place. I wouldn't recycle them. And, you have a big like a garbage bag full of them, and they'd weigh it up, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's worth, like 75 cents. Okay, sure. Well, 75 cents more than I had. And then because I would always take other scrap metal, and then you always just threw a bag of cans in with them whenever they're full.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could have brought them back myself, but I'd rather just give it out to whoever needed it. And I tell you right now, every time I put them out, they always went away. Somebody always took them. Never came out there and saw them, still out there the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Fender Guru. Hope you're well. So, yes, you got a new guitar.
I have a new toy. Yeah.
You got it. Oh. Can I say how jealous I am?
Well, the funny part about it is I'm so jealous of that thing right I'm pointing at right now. So, I mean, this is the closest I'm going to get. It's because the pickups are voiced to a
right.
Yeah, to basically a really, I forget what year it was, the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. I was playing it last night for a while, and it's sounding sweet. So let me go get my my present to myself that I opened up. Couldn't wait, and I'll be back in a second.
And of course, if you guys have any questions in the chat, please ask away. Oh, I keep forgetting. I don't have a touchpad on this computer, so you got to keep reaching down for the mouse. Who else we got in here? Fender Guru, David Ennis, good to see you. Zach Thong, Absolute Mayhem, good to see you guys. Thumbs ups, sure, I'll take thumbs ups. I like thumbs ups. Steve, good to see you. I didn't shout you out earlier. Brad Miller's back, yes. Brian Stewart asked for a stack of Sweetwater gift cards. That's cool. Will has auto shut off too. Yes, on your vape. Cool, cool. Yeah, that thing's pretty darn cool. Not gonna lie. Terry's still shopping on nuts.com by the looks of things. What's the story with the BC Rich behind me? RJ asks. All right. Ironically enough, RJ, there's a video coming out on it in the next day or two. Both these guitars here, I did videos on that. They'll be coming up the next couple of days. The BC Rich, it is a platinum series, so low end. I believe it's plywood. I picked it up. That was my Valentine's gift for myself this year. What do I've done to it? I installed a set of FU tone pickups in it. Thank you, Adam Reaver. Great pickups, 15K output on the bridge, 10.5 on the neck. Could use a set of tuners. I replaced the nut with a Tusk nut as well. And yeah, I dig it. I've always had a soft spot for plywood guitars for whatever reason.
Well, speaking of FU tone pickups, I'm probably pulling the trigger on picking up that pair.
They're great.
I was gonna say, tell me about it. Tell me, because everything I've read, you know, Adam puts out nothing but top-notch stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, like so about a 15K output on the bridge. So that is what he considers right on the edge of a high output. You know, like anything over 15 is next level type thing.
Right.
But it's still twice the output of a PAF. But they're nice. They're, you know, they're bright but not shrill. They're articulate, you know, but still full sounding. It's a really nice all around decent pair. And the neck at 10.5. And I do ride the neck for some of my mellow stuff. It's full, robust, and like I say, at that output, well, I'm sure there's other people doing output pickups around that 10.5 range, but I haven't personally looked for them or looked them up, but I love it. I love it. What were you thinking of putting them in?
That's the thing, right? Because I've been looking and reading up on them. And again, I know if you're going to buy something from it, it's going to be quality stuff. So, but with that kind of output, it's almost like it's kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, like kind of like control chaos. What do we mean by that? It's not going to get muddy or over, you know, ice picking ear, screech, you know, tinny. It's got that sweet spot. That's what it's just
more.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you know, like those always on pedals that we have, like a little bit of a clean boost, just that little.
Hey, that's a perfect way of putting it. Yeah.
You know, it's like you didn't realize you have the volume on your guitar. You think it's wide open, but it's at 9, and it's just that extra little.
Right, but it's on the borderline. Like, I mean, it's right where you want it. It's not over the top, and then you're still going to get that articulation, the pick attack, and everything, because the pickups aren't overtaking the plane. I guess that's kind of, you know, a good way to explain it. But I've seen the reviews. I've seen great. You have
is in Anaheim. He keeps asking where NAMM is. It's in Anaheim for winter NAMM. Summer NAMM is in Nashville. They used to move them around, but they stopped doing that the last few years.
Yeah, when I was in NAMM last year, from what I understand, I think I don't know, 4 years or so, or 5 years, and then they're actually thinking of moving it out of Anaheim because I guess the convention center is like jacking up the price crazy.
Of course they are.
Yeah,
and everybody else is, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. So one of the rumors I heard was they were thinking actually going to Vegas.
They've done it before, and Vegas. You know, how many convention centers are there in Vegas, right?
Exactly. You know, and you don't have to worry about hotels.
And that's nice part too, right? And they don't need to jack up because they're like, so it's NAMM. It's just another trade show to them.
It's another, you know, however many thousand people come in. It happened. It's normal in that city.
Yeah,
that infrastructure is set up for it.
Yeah, that's their thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're that's what I heard. So we'll see. I mean, wait until you get there. You're gonna love it. It's it's a cool place.
Definitely. And then Adam was asking who's going to be at the party. Speaking of which, yes, we have a GoFundMe going to help us with the party, because I'm thinking, you know, just between the captain and myself, our booze bill alone, you know.
It's going to be up there.
But I know you've had a busy last few months, so I've invited a fair amount of people that are all quality.
I've been so busy. I've been so darn busy, man. Also, work has been killing me. I mean, I'm so far behind in all of my friends' videos and stuff, yours included, just because I just don't have the time. Like tomorrow, I was going to be home tomorrow early morning. I'm on the road again and going down to Pueblo to do some work. I have an accident. I was actually mentioning on Johnny's show the other night. You guys know what I do for a living, and I can speak to this only as far as I can say now because it involved 2 employee fatalities with a trains going into another train. So there's just so much going on with work. But yeah, fill me in, man. Fill me in on all that stuff.
All right. So invites have been sent out to, let's start east to west. Going as far east as, I believe I invited Vlad from Catpick Studios out of Finland, but I don't think he's going to make it to NAMM. Invited Henning Pauly. Also invited Mike Bradley out of the UK. Great guitar player. I don't think China Mike is coming. Let's see, getting into North America. On the East Coast, we got the East Coast crew, you know, all those guys, Rob Johnson, Pete Carucci, and those guys, you know, I mentioned it to Rob, so I assume Rob mentioned it because they're the crew. They're the East Coast crew.
Yep.
Mark Kazansky, I mentioned, I talked to him about it. He's going to try to swing by.
Cool.
Steve from Boston.
Cool.
That should be fun. Tone King was going to, but he's not making it to NAMM.
Oh, he's not really?
Yeah, he's got a work commitment, unfortunately.
Okay. Would like to meet him.
But we will be picking up the slack for him. Tone King was supposed to be going live from the Framus booth each day. Okay. But instead, he said he handed it off to a friend, and that friend would be Steve from Boston.
There you go.
So Steve is setting up a little jam space in the Framus booth like he had a GitCon. And he invited a bunch of YouTubers to come by and play, including myself. So that should be awesome.
Cool.
And then, of course, we've got Johnny and Steve Anderson, assuming he's still going. Yeah, I haven't seen Steve in a couple of weeks.
He's been busy, I guess. You know, me and Johnny were talking about that the other night. And yeah, I just hope everything, because his mom, I know, is in ill health. Mm-hmm. So I just, you know, pray that she's okay and everything's good with him. Steve's a good guy. So hopefully everything's all right.
Yeah. Last time I saw Steve, he jumped in my chat a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did he? Cool. Okay.
Let's see. Who else did I talk to? Sean Pierce Johnson. Of course, Sean Silas. Caleb. Why am I drawing a blank, folks? Who's been on the channel? Basically, any big YouTuber or musician or anything I've invited.
I was going to say, basically, everybody, look, everybody, whoever, if you're in the chat, just come hang out.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly. Like regulars in the chat, Michael B. I mentioned to him.
Yeah.
Cheddar Kung Pao, Guitar Pit, Chris,
and that's a big room we have, so that's going to fit everybody.
Yep. JJ, how would we forget JJ?
House of Jams, JJ. Wait till you meet him. That's one cool brother right there.
Ike from Flipside. Yeah, I'm racking my brain. Basically, yeah, I've just told everybody, you know, like, stop by, have a pint, what have you. Sinner was asking if you've got a pass yet for NAMM.
And I just popped in and saw that. And no, I have not, Sinner, not yet. I'm still working on it on a couple of fronts, as Ben knows. And
I've got the feelers out too. But if anyone can help us, that's in the chat. You know, Mike's a great guy. You know, if you can help him out, or contact me or him, whomever.
And that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate it. Obviously, it's just, you know, these passes, they're just, you know, they're hard to come by. I mean, that's reality. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, either way you slice it, even if I don't make it, I'm not pulling that room. So that room's going to be there for whoever to enjoy. So don't think that the room's disappearing because I'm not going. That's just the way it is, you know. I wouldn't hold that. I should have, you know, I just gave my leverage up. Shoot. I should have said, no, I'm just joking. I would never do that. That's not right. So just everybody's invited, man. Just come on, man. Come and hang out. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, not to mention like concerts in the evening. Larry Mitchell's going to be playing, I believe, at the Marriott. So we're going to swing by, see him play. Sean Pierce Johnson's doing a show
up last year. Let me tell you, I mean, I know you guys all know that. What an amazing guitarist and an amazingly awesome dude Larry is. And he ripped last year. What a show.
Oh, dang. Paul Millard just says, new guitar day today. I picked up a made in Mexico Fender Strat 60th anniversary with a Floyd for 300 Canadian. Dang.
Sweet.
That's a sweet deal.
Thank you, Sinner. I just read that. Thank you so much, brother. And hi, Mitch. How you doing? $300.
Guitar. Good to see you.
You got to put up some video or show that bad boy off. $300. That is crazy, especially up there, right? I mean,
yeah, I bet you that guitar would be pushing 800 new.
So what's
the Mexican stuff holds its value. They don't cut the value in half. I'd say Mexicans usually get 60 to 70% of original price. They hold,
and they should hold. They're well made.
Oh yeah,
man. They are. A lot of times you'll see people bashing those things. Those are not crap instruments.
I was playing. Really good guitar. I pulled my Mexican Telly out of its case. It had been sitting in a case for a month or so at least, and it was sitting on the rack for a month before that. I pulled it out, and I swear it's my best playing guitar across the board. Now, granted, I tweaked that setup for months. I'm talking, like 1/16 of a turn on the height adjustment. Just dialed it in, and that's what did it. But yeah,
but still think of this, right? I mean, how many guitars come perfectly set up? You're going to tweak it anyway, and the fact that you did those tweaks, that thing is kit. I mean, look at some of the collection you got, dude.
I know.
You say something like, that's my best playing guitar. That speaks volumes.
Yep.
I mean,
it's by far the easiest to play.
Wow. Is it the neck or I mean, what's the
neck? Yeah, the neck, because I did. It had a satin finish, and I took half the satin finish off, so it feels basically like a raw neck, and it's got decent sized frets, but they're still fairly small for me. Like, they're not a full on jumbo fret, which I dig. The only thing I don't like is the vintage saddles, but I still haven't got around to replacing them. But it's just dialed in so well. Like, the intonation is perfect,
Nice.
So I can play anywhere on the neck, and you don't even hear it even a hair out of tune. It's versatile. That's the other thing. It's just versatile with a coil tap. So I got humbuckers, I got single coils, I got a John BL sticker for extra mojo. Maybe that's what it is. It's the John BL sticker.
John, you did it, brother. That's a maple neck. That's not. Is that contoured radius?
No. I think it's just a straight 9.5.
Okay.
And I thought it was a rosewood fretboard. I'm 99% sure it's rosewood, but it's awfully dark.
That is dark.
It's a very dark fretboard, yeah. So it might be that Palfaro. But then again, it's 2015, so they were still using rosewood at the time.
Yeah, they still use them, and you can get them like in England and stuff like that. You just can't move them across boundaries.
Yeah. Well, retail, you can travel with them. You just can't sell it across a border.
Exactly. I learned that there was a crazy screaming deal on the EVH Star guitar. Ultimately, right. I got one, as you know, used from Music Zoo, but I got one over in Anderson, in England. I mean, it was like in American dollars, I think it was like $500 or whatever. It was a flash sale, and I was on it. That's it. That's mine. And they accepted it. They took my credit card and everything. The next day, I get an email, and I'm thinking, thank you for your order or whatever. I get an email saying, no, I'm sorry, due to international law, we cannot send it to the United States. And they had to cancel the order. And I was pissed. But I mean, that's
there's a message from RJ there. He said for NAMM passes, contact Dave Ruffett on Facebook. He can usually get most stores, or basically anybody that has a membership has access to 10 passes. So that's nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll check that. I'll keep that in for the replay. I'll rewind this, because this isn't even my computer, so I can't save that link. But you want to copy it out too, Mike? Definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Hey, Showman Blues is in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Terry. Palfaro is lighter, so Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it is just a really dark piece of rosewood.
It could be a dark piece.
Yeah. Hey, Jovenci Vlogs. Welcome. Welcome. I was thinking ebony, but it doesn't seem as tight a grain. Like ebony has that kind of shininess, almost fakeness to it at times. You know what I mean? But it could be ebony.
Using rosewood, you can see the grain on the, at least on the few that I have.
Yeah.
I love the sound of a rosewood neck. Got that little darker sound. Especially if you have high output pickups. I think it sounds beautiful.
You know, it might be ebony. Now that I look at it, because it reminds me somewhat of my Martin fretboard, but there is some light spots in it too. I don't know. I think it's just more dark than light, and it's rosewood. Now I'm just confusing myself. Of course, I'm looking at every other rosewood fretboard next to me here, going, "Is it darker than that?" Yeah, but then yeah, this one's pretty dark too on the Kramer, but that's definitely rosewood. It has more of a brown tinge to it.
Hello, Showman.
One thing I do need to get post-holiday is another guitar boat, because this 5 rack is full. My stands are full. I want to show off more guitars.
I agree. Speaking of showing off guitars, hold on a second.
Yes, right.
Totally forgot about it. We're talking about everything else. You see this? You need me to put on more light.
Oh, I'll be able to see it.
Let me know, because I can put on an overhead light if I have to. So this is the case. I'll give you a hint what's in it. However,
those cases are great too.
Yeah, SB cases. These things are awesome. Although one thing about this case, and I'm gonna have to reach out to them. You see these rubber pieces, right?
Yeah.
They're tight, except for this one.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably put some Gorilla Glue on it, because I got this thing.
That was my thought. Yeah, some Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, I got such a good price. Paid a good price for it. Let me
load the dog paw.
Pop out this bad boy. In fact, I'll do this. Let me pick it up. I like using
barefoot mode. Good to see you, Jeremy Dunn. Love that Kramer. Got 3 of them, and just added an EVH Wolfie. Nice. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, look at that wood grain.
Yeah, that wood grain, man. I tell you, let me pick her up, take her out of there.
Binding too. I forgot about the binding.
Yeah, it even has the binding on it. Well, you know, these things.
That's cool.
This is their top of the line. Well, one of the top of the line. I mean, you can get the custom shop stuff. The top of the line.
Top line production.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that dark binding just looks so like hot rod 70s Nashville, you know.
Yeah, oh, that's a good, yeah, like Nashville, exactly. You can see the football.
Yeah, because I'm all about those 70s hot rodded Nashville guitars, guys had. Yeah, that's awesome. Jeez, it still has the decal on the pick guard.
Yeah.
And that's got the compound radius neck.
It does, man. And, you know, it's obviously it's more rounded up here, and as it goes down, it gets flatter. And it does.
I think it's a 9.5 up to 11. So it's not too crazy.
No, it's not. But you could feel the difference.
Yeah, yeah. Soda Pop says that thing screams Crossroads.
Nah.
Oh, look at that. Clearly an ash body.
Yes. Yep. Ash body, and it's a demo. So this thing was, and I have not found a scratch on the damn thing, and I've been looking. Let me tell you. So
I got the saddles I like.
Yeah,
I love those saddles.
The 4th generation noiseless pickups. Got the
right.
got the S1 switch here. You go power. You know, you go into parallel. Okay,
Terry says 9.5 to 12-inch radius.
That's it. He's right.
Yeah. Stainless frets.
You know what? I don't know.
I can't remember. It's like it seems to be like it was one of those guitars they pretty much threw the book at it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't recall them saying that.
Hey, there's Ike from Flipside. Hey, buddy. We were talking about you earlier.
I don't remember them saying that it was stainless frets or anything like that.
Okay, metal stage. Sinner says nickel frets.
Okay. I'm sure if it was stainless
Hey,
frets, they would have mentioned it, you know? They would have said something. They're not going to just not say anything.
and then you have that great neck adjustment.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Like on the EVH guitars.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think every guitar should have that.
Agree 1,000,000%. I don't know why the hell, especially on the medium to higher end. I mean, I don't know what the difference of price is, but why wouldn't you do that? You know? Why?
Well, honestly, that little wheel deal as opposed to a nut at the other end, like when you're buying them by the thousands, like what are we talking, $1? $2?
Exactly. Exactly. But you know, they're going to right? They're going to go ahead and use any kind of niche item to sell it. I mean, you know, if you get this version, you get this exclusive feature, and they'll charge you an extra $100, whatever it is. So,
Yeah, I do like the black guard with the black dot inlays. That's
I
sweet
love
too.
the way that looks, man.
Yeah.
And this thing, the neck is, wow. That's what made me buy this thing. If this has the exact same compound radius that the Stratocaster Elites have, by the way.
Yeah.
Same exact neck. Yep.
Yeah.
Same exact neck. So this is my new pride and joy.
Well, you've been talking for a while about getting a telly, and
yeah, I had the Squire telly. Do you remember that one?
Right.
I had the thin line.
Right.
It's got the Seymour Duncan pickups in it, and that guitar is cool, man. I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's a really excellent, good sounding guitar. But you know, because it's got the cutaway in it, and it's got
It does take away from the brightness a bit, I think.
Absolutely. It also feedbacks like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes. With this thing, I had it on some serious. I got a triple X PV amplifier. I mean, that's saturation gain, and you're not getting any of that kind of stuff out of this because of noiseless pickups, which is phenomenal. You know. And when you put it into the middle position where you got both pickups going on, you throw and you engage the S1 switch. It almost doesn't, not exactly, because it's not, but it almost sounds humbuckerish, if you will.
Right.
A lot of meat out of it.
See, Soda Pop's asking what the weight is on that guitar.
You know what? I honestly don't know. It's got some.
They're in the 7 1/4 range, I want to say. Like they are more on the lighter side.
Yeah, it's not heavy. Not heavy by any means.
And it looks like RJ is having a hard time. He's looking for a Carl Martin Hell's Gate pedal. Anybody out there? Ike's looking for one for him. So we'll see. And I just said sweet telly. Yeah, very sweet. And as I recall, do you have a guitar with P90s in it, Mike?
No. The closest, well, not even close. The Dan Electro has lipstick pickups in them.
Yeah, that'd be kind of the other side because I consider them any single. Almost.
Yeah, I don't, and that's something that I need to get. I really do, just to have that tonal sound.
See you, Brian Stewart. Thanks for jumping in. Still got 42 people watching on a Sunday night in the holiday season. Awesome.
Yep. Goodbye, Brian.
Well, I highly recommend you get a P90 guitar because I have a feeling there's a set of P90 pickups coming your way in the new year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's being a handful of the signature pickups are being built, and I wanted to send a set to you, sir.
Oh, dude, you're kidding me.
No.
Thank you so much, man.
Well, you've been one of the biggest supporters of the channel since day one. And I'm talking the fact that anytime I post a link, you're sharing it in social media, giving them a thumbs up. Heck yeah. So JJ's got a set coming his way. You've got a set coming.
Dude, thank you, man.
Keep your eyes open for something, nice little build job, even, like a Harley Benton with P90s or something like that. Or
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
You're killing me right now. I love it. Thank you. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was talking with Travis this week. I had to check in on Richie's build that I'm doing for him. I'm still waiting on that. So, and then I said, by the way, I need a few sets of pickups. And he says, when do you need them? I said, NAMM. He's like, okay.
Well, Scott, to answer your question, yes, it does. That's another feature. It has this cutaway.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that they really thought this guitar through. This makes a difference. Just sitting here like this. And now, as you know, as you get older, you get fatter. So you need a deeper cutaway.
Yeah, even I like the belly cut on my telly.
Yeah. Well, actually, I need to. I stay thin because I have to climb inside boilers for my job. One of the things I do. But yeah, it has that, and it's cool, man. It really is. It just makes it. It fits. You know what I mean? It's comfortable,
Yeah.
and that's what you want, right? It's comfortable in your hands. The neck again is like butter. So it's enjoyable to play, and that's at the end of the day. That's what music's about, right? It's about total just enjoying.
Yep.
Music's it for me, man.
Ike was asking if it's a Carina body. I'm pretty sure it's an ash body.
It's ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ash. Definitely ash. Thank you.
One thing I wish they did do is a bit of an arm cut. Like when I put the arm relief in my guitar, oh, amazing.
Really?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I do miss the belly cut too, but the arm cut, world of difference.
They've even contoured this section.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yep, that is. I mean, again, this is attention to details, right? This way, it makes it
just that extra little bit.
Exactly. I mean, you look at something like that and you say, oh, what can that do? Well, pick one up that doesn't have it, and when you're playing, just a lot. Look, I have my hand because of that cutaway. Just there's effortless. I have it plopped on there, and I can touch every single.
Yeah, you're not fretting at a 45-degree angle.
No, not even close, man. I mean, look, I can hold it like that. Comfortable.
See you, Mitch?
Bye, Mitch.
Yeah, Dogpa, borrowing custom shop, the Elite Telly. Yeah, I get it. Like I play like when they first came out. I got one in my hands. I went, wow, okay. I get where like I could just see it was such a cut above at that time an American Standard.
Yeah, well,
I think an American Standard was pushing damn near $2,000, and those things came out for 2,600 Canadian. I was like, there is definitely an extra $600 worth of guitar in here.
Exactly. Yeah, just the details and just the fine tuning that they did to this thing.
Yep.
I mean, I really couldn't be more happier with this.
I went out looking to play some more of the Fender Performer series today, but sadly, the two that were shipped to the Belleville Ardents were already sold.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, before they even got there, you mean?
Pretty much. Well, I think they put them out, last week? Gone. Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
Yeah. Well, they do a great marketing thing. Like, like Fender will be like, you can't sell it before, let's say, December 10th. So they'll get the shipment in up to a month in advance, and they'll hang them out on the floor without a tag. So you don't know what it is exactly, other than like the Elites have the big Elite sticker on them. But, people are like, Performers, what is this? And they're like, can't really tell you. Well, how much? Can't tell you. Come back on the 10th.
Really?
And sure enough, a couple of guys came in. They're like, there was a Telly and a Strat, and they were just gone.
I never understood that. Like a place like Ardens, right? I mean, obviously they have a amazing customer base, and they know what they're doing. Or they seem like an amazing shop. In fact, if I ever get a chance to get up there into Canada, I've been to Canada quite a few times. Always to Toronto, though. Driving right up 95, right?
Yeah.
But what? Why is it so hard to get stuff up there? I know that with the difference between the currency and everything like that, but the demand is there. So
the demand is there, but you have what, 10 to 20, I'll be generous, 20 mom and pop stores in the entire country. And then you have a chain of 35 or 50 stores or more, which is your Guitar Center that just gobbles up everything.
Yeah.
So as a result, you really got to pick and choose what you carry. And Ike, yes, definitely. If you get involved with FMIC, especially as a U.S. dealer, my understanding is if you do the initial run, you order your 30, say, Fender guitars, you can still special order in the rest of the lines, like your Gretsch, your EVH, your Jackson, your Charvels. You have access to that database without actually having to carry them on the showroom floor, which is really cool. That's a great marketing thing as a mom and pop operation. Because I know that's the biggest thing is having to do that commitment of the 30 pieces. I think it's 30. I can't remember exactly. But yeah.
Well, that's a lot. You're putting a lot of money out there and you got to move those.
Yep. Exactly. And and fortunately, Sean, who owns the 3 Ardens locations, he's able to buy for 3 stores, which helps. So he can put 10 per store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
which he has to do a certain amount because it's different for Fender in Canada. He can't order in like in the US. Like if he carries Fender, he can't just order a Jackson, a Charvel, or a Gretsch for me. He has to bring in each one of those lines. So fortunately, he can do it as 10 guitars per store instead of 30.
Okay, and then if he has like some left over in one store, he has the luxury of moving them from store to store. Where's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see what stuff sells from town to town because there's 65 miles from end store to end store with one in the middle. And basically the newest location, it's a town of a little over 100,000 people, university town. Their tastes are going to be different than here in town as well as the next one over because we're more small town, much more country music as opposed to rock music, we'll say. So you have a different clientele.
Yeah, so you're obviously you're gonna just put out different products. Now, the one near you, is that the original Ardens or is that second or third? Which one?
The one near me is the second. The original was in Belleville, which is 10 miles east of me. And then they opened a second location at some point, I want to say in the 80s, early 80s maybe, because I think there's always been an Ardens, as far as I can remember, in Trenton.
80s? How long have they been around? For a long time then.
They celebrated their 50th anniversary a few years ago.
Wow. Awesome.
Yep.
That is
cool. It started out as Ardens Accordion Academy.
No way.
Yeah.
They were just accordions?
50 years ago, because everybody, lots of people learned accordion back then, right? And then they started carrying some student guitars and then bringing in more and that's always been their bread and butter, is a teaching location as much as a retailer.
Nice.
Yeah, so they've always been heavy on the low-end import stuff for students and stuff. But then once the son took over, he started expanding it a bit more and saying, okay, let's get these guys in. And his dad was almost against it because he's like, no, I don't want to carry American Fenders. He's like, well, why? He says, because you're going to sell 50 of them, and then you're never going to sell another one because people buy one, and that's it. But he's like, no, Dad, like, guys buy a dozen guitars these days. He's like, no. People have just one guitar. And he's like, no. Everybody has a dozen these days, so.
Well, he's thinking he's an old-timer, right? So but back then, you carried one guitar. Let's be real. I mean, that's
like my dad's generation, right? He had the Telly, he had a Fender amp. That was it.
Yeah. And if you had a second one, it was a backup that was kind of a piece of crap in case your good one broke when you're on stage.
If you're lucky. And half the time you're borrowing because hey, Bob has a spare out of my 5 friends.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, mine brother, who's on next or who just got off stage? Let me borrow your guitar.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Let's see. My sister says the girls say hi. Hello, Sam. Hello, Kenzie. Love my nieces. You missed a good Late Show. Yes, I still got to watch Late Show. I've been so busy, but I definitely want to check out the Late Show.
Well, thank you.
You guys went live just after, I think, around the time the Tone King was ending. I was moderating for the Tone King, and then he ended at about 1 a.m. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. Yeah.
That was totally unannounced. I think Johnny texted me something or whatever it was, and then I was like, okay. I wasn't expecting a guitar. It came at a different time. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just show him. So I just sent him a picture of the box.
Right.
And he writes back to me, what's in it, a violin? Or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not a violin, you idiot. You know, and then we were just messing back and forth with each other. And he's like, you want to jump on and unbox it? I didn't even open it up. I was out
Right.
all day. I was busy. I was actually working earlier. Then I went out to a friend's house, had some drinks or whatever. And then by the time by the time the show started, I literally hadn't even opened up the box yet. And I was like 3 sheets to the wind by then. And then the rest of the night went on.
Perfect.
So, yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. RJ says, not everyone likes reversed headstocks, but I do. I don't own a reverse headstock guitar. And honestly, this one almost became a reverse headstock guitar because it makes sense to have the reverse headstock. You want a longer string for your heavier gauge string because that's the way a piano is. So based off that theory, I think it makes sense. That being said, I don't know if I've ever owned a reverse headstock guitar. See you, Steve. Thanks for jumping in. And definitely, Ike, yeah, retail's tough these days. That's why the web presence, right? You just hope that it's like another virtual store, and if you just hope it can pull in the same numbers or more. Fair enough, Ike.
Now with the reverse headstock, real quick with that.
Yep.
I've never owned one. I've played them, you know, in Guitar Center or whatever. But the people that love them say that they literally, the tonality of the guitar is different.
Well,
because
yeah, like you say,
strings.
It's like a piano,
right?
So it just makes sense. You know, same as I always said, Leo Fender screwed it up when he angled the bridge pickup in the Strat and the Telly. It should be angled the other way.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You know, so your low end strings have more twang, and it makes your more brighter strings less bright.
To flip it.
Yeah.
Just to
yeah. That's another thing I want to try doing. I want to pick up like a Squire Affinity Telly, which I was looking at one today.
That'd be a good experiment, man.
Route it out, put a lefty bridge on it. I think that would be cool.
That would be really cool. And then
I just happened to be looking at a Squire Affinity Telly today that had a big ding in it during shipping, so it's marked down to 200 Canadian.
Ooh. That'd be cool as heck, man. I put it in, so you got single coils there. You can maybe get double stack, you know, something noiseless, or even, I mean, if you want to go like Eddie Van Halen crazy, route it out and put a humbucker in it.
Yeah,
you know, but opposite, you know, just angle the humbucker. How would that sound, right? The polarities are different. So, what kind of sound are you going to get out of that?
Yeah, Danny Allen, welcome. He says the only downside of reverse headstock is the inconvenience of tuning. Yeah. And Quentin, that's on Leo, why I oughta. Well, yeah, Leo came up with a ton of amazing inventions, but there are a few things he got backwards. Like his use of the term tremolo and vibrato. What he calls tremolo is actually vibrato, and what he calls vibrato is actually tremolo.
Yeah, right. You mean tremolo? Is that how people in Canada used to say it? Tremolo?
What's it? Tremolo.
I know you do, but I hear other Canadians.
Other people will say tremolo.
Tremolo, that's it. That's it. Okay.
Tremolo, yeah.
Well, think about this. How many things did he get right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the man was a genius.
That's true. And it's funny, too, because, you know, like the woods he chose was as much for price as anything else. Like he chose all the junk wood. And I never understood, you know, like swamp ash, you know, or just ash in general is considered a garbage wood. And I was like, what do you know, they make the best guitars, you know, maple, another, you know, that's more a highly sought after wood. But I didn't understand the term like junk wood or garbage wood, you know, because the only thing I could relate it to was furniture making. But then I thought, well, no, it dates back to fuel source. Ash is a terrible wood to burn. Yes. It burns very fast, you know, and it's not dense.
It's not dense,
so
exactly.
Terrible firewood. and therefore it was considered a garbage wood. Whereas a nice oak, very dense, very hard wood, is considered highly sought after.
Yeah, it is. Let me tell you right now, in the railroad industry, for re-railing, you know, if a train goes off the tracks, we use I've re-railed hundreds and hundreds of cars with wood. We use blocks of wood. You just have to know what you're doing, but you can re-rail cars like that. And oak, that's all we use.
Yep.
You know, as long as you don't go with the grain, you go against the grain.
Oh yeah.
You can pick up 100-ton car. It'll climb right over that wood back onto the rail because it's dense. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. You put ash under there, it's gonna be splintered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Todd Soda Pop asked, Leo didn't play guitar, did he? No, he did not. And let's see. Yeah, also the amount of soot it produces. Yep, Showman, correct. Flip side, Ike says, Captain, are you in New York? Haha. He's another transplant like you, Ike.
No, I'm not in New York. I'm from the Bronx. Born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. I have a house on Long Island, and I've been living out here in Colorado since 2010. I moved out here, worked for the railroad back there, and I moved out to Colorado for work in the rail industry. So that's how I wound up out here. And I could have picked a lot of worse places to live because Colorado is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, Flipside's in Denver as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when we had,
dude.
Yeah, when we were yeah, exactly. Stop by my shop, he says. Exactly.
That's right. Okay, you do own that joint. I saw that at one point. I'm going to stop by, definitely, Flipside.
I want to say, yeah, that was a couple of months ago when Ike was on with us for a roundtable one time there.
That's what it was, yes.
We were in the chat, and I'm like, you need to go over and see him.
Yes. Yo,
and ironically enough, when I messaged you when I was looking for a couple of NAMM passes, it was for the captain here.
Flipside, PM me. All right? I'm definitely going to come down and hang out at your shop. I'll buy stuff from you, dude. I mean, I totally forgot about that. I remember being on that show.
He says to bring the telly.
Well, you got it. Deal.
Yeah, because Ike's into tellies big time too.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'll bring it, no doubt. Yeah, when I was in that show, and that's when he mentioned it. I'm just so busy, and I got a mind like a sieve sometimes, so I forgot. But PM me, we'll hook up, man. Definitely, that'd be cool.
Quentin's in Louisville. Yep. Terry's putting in all the links for Flipside. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's get a roll call. Where is everybody at? Where do you live? Are you a native of the place? Have you moved there? Where's everybody living right now? Let's see, like, which I love about the internet, man. I mean, think about it. I wouldn't know any of you dudes if it wasn't for the internet.
And I'm planning on I'll be rocking my Flipside shirt one of the days at NAMM. I'll probably do it on the Sunday because then I know Sean from Ardens is already gone by then.
Well, when I come there, I'll pick up a shirt. If I'm lucky enough to get the NAMM, I'll sport it, and even if I don't, I'll still wear the damn thing.
So we got Oshawa, Ontario, which is an hour west of me, just the east end of Toronto, more or less. You got Brian, yeah, Toronto area, Tampa, Florida.
Nice.
John moved to Wisconsin. RJ's in Northern Cali, Blind River, Ontario. Todd is, yeah, I was trying to remember where you were, Todd. I knew it's almost on the Manitoba border. Dogpa's in LA. Check out the Flipside website. Nice. By a Reverend.
Highland Ranch. My good friend of mine lives right in Highlands Ranch. Two of them, actually.
Oh, Paul's in Kamloops. Awesome, Paul. Reno, Nevada.
Quentin, Earth. Just visiting.
Terry lives in an igloo beside the local McDonald's, eh?
Plainfield, Ontario.
Yeah.
Who's that? Oh, Amanda. Hi.
Yeah.
You know that.
Will's born in the Bronx and now lives in Oyster Bay.
Oh, another Bronx dude. What up? Oyster Bay, know exactly where it is. My house, by the way, is in Long Beach for you New Yorkers.
Ike's asking what your handle is on here.
Say again?
Ike is asking what your handle is. Just Michael Smith.
No, yeah. I'm as plain as I am in real life as I am online. Just Michael Smith. That's it.
We're all friends on Facebook. Worst case, check out my friends list. Good question. A64 T-Bird says, hey guys, curious, has every great guitar been built already? Why are we buying new guitars? Well, new guitars, I'd say in some respects are built better than old guitars. However, I think guitars need 30 years to age. You know, to cure, to dry out, what have you. And I thought all great guitar designs were done until the Wolfgang hit the market, or the Ernie Ball Music Man will say, you know, a unique shape, you know, and same as Paul Reed Smith, you know. So who's to say there could be the next guitar shape that takes hold and stays, you know?
And think about it, the only part of a guitar that can be copyrighted is the headstock. That's it.
Yep.
Everything else is fair game. You can literally steal everything else. I don't know why that is, but I know the headstock. In fact, on the this new guitar I have right here, it says the headstock's the only thing that has the patent.
Yep.
On the card is showing the headstocks. So you can go ahead and borrow from everybody else. I think it's cool because you get that kind of innovation. And that to me would be the answer to that question, Ben.
Yep.
Why do we keep buying new guitars? Innovation. This is a perfect example of it. These little tweaks that they put in this thing makes it different. It's a different instrument with kind of the same vibe as an older one. So you're getting a newer experience, a new modern experience to an older model. And I think, you know, with technology nowadays, the way computer and everything is lazily scanned, and you can tweak things just ever so slightly, but make a massive difference. Fourth generation pickups that are voiced to original pickups. I mean, you couldn't do that 20 years ago.
No. It's like you could have an active pickup or you can have a vintage pickup, but you couldn't have an active pickup that sounded vintage.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes, guitar being played and vibrating is important to the wood, Denny Allen says. I agree fully. I remember reading an article about that, I want to say in the early 90s, and it said like the more the wood vibrates on a microscopic level, it starts lining up the fibers, which allow it to be more resonant.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you have a more porous wood, you would get more, because this is a porous wood, Ash.
Yeah.
So you're going to get more resonance out of it then.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Okay, I never thought of it from that angle.
And more porous, I would say it would be a darker tone. You know, it's like if you made a metal guitar out of a piece of billet aluminum, the thing's going to be so bright.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because it's so solid. Flip side, really, on Beach Street. Okay, I got my house is on New York Avenue on the corner of Neptune, and I got family on Florida, Louisiana. My aunt used to own. I can name. I got 5 relatives that live in Long Beach right now, and then Oceanside. So let me get off my New York kick, but I had to answer that. Sean is just south of Pittsburgh, PA. So I'm taking you're a happy man tonight because your Steelers won.
Let me see. How can I do that? Flipside was just asking if Terry could PM your info. But I think I can do a friend suggestion. Can you still do that on Facebook?
I think you can because they pop up all the time. People are always saying, "Hey," unless that might be Facebook. Maybe I'm wrong. I have so many friend requests. I got to go through them, and I apologize if anybody out there refriend request me. If you did, I've just been so busy. I literally have so many of them sitting there, and I'm not like that. I mean, if I know you, I'm gonna friend you, man. I just haven't had a chance.
I'm just gonna write on your wall and I'm tagging Ike in it.
There you go. Watch, we're friends already. We don't even know it. Hey, that wouldn't be the first time that's happened to me. Yep.
I think I did it right. Nah, we'll see. If not, I'll do a group message or something that way.
That'll work, yeah.
Because then you could always just click on the person, click profile.
Exactly.
Okay, so Ike was a couple houses down from Debbie's Deli. Well, there we are.
Oh, really? Okay. I know exactly where you're at, man. Oh, we're at.
Soda Pop says, Ben, we need a guitar that can handle Arctic weather. I don't really. My guitars all know they're Canadian. Because, like, I remember, like, last year, because, I'm fairly new to YouTube, and I remember, it was about a little over a year ago, I started hanging out in Johnny's chat. Showman, speaking of Facebook, I'm sorry about that guy that posted on your wall that came out of left field. I don't even recall somebody posting on my wall, but okay. Yeah, but like Dave Nesdall was complaining about fret sprout and stuff like that, and fret sprout is pretty much unheard of on my guitars.
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
So it's not dry up there?
Oh, it's very dry. Believe me, my hair grows by the hour throughout the day.
Because I'm basically living in the high, they call it the high desert, because it is. It's the humidity here is like 0. And I've guitars that I brought from New York. Not all of them. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I've had twice. I had to shave in my frets because, now I have a humidifier. We have a thing out here. We use, I'm sure a lot of people heard of it. They call them swamp cooler. It's an evaporative cooler.
Yep.
And it does work. It cools your house down. But when
I'm just feeling my 2015 Mexican, there's a slight, like, there's nothing sharp, but there's a slight bulge, so it's just barely sprouted, I'd say. And then I just felt my 89 Strat, which has never had the frets worked on. It's got some fret sprout, but because they put so much lacquer on that neck, it was back in the day where you had to scrape the lacquer off the frets when you got the guitar.
Okay, yeah.
And the lacquer is around it enough that it's not sharp. It's just bulges. So it hasn't even broken through the lacquer in what? Almost 30 years? 29 years?
A60 T-Bird says, I just refretted my 1976 Gibson Les Paul Custom. She weighs about 11 pounds. It was refretted with 6100 stainless steel frets. It will blow away any other Les Paul I have tried. Stock. Cool.
Nice.
Put up a video of that and tag us. I'd like to check that out. Did you video you doing the change?
Soda Pop says his Nuno hates Canada.
Nuno Betancourt.
I wouldn't mind one of his guitars. That's always been on my radar. God,
that guy is good. We were talking about him the other night on Johnny's show, and then you go that rabbit hole that is YouTube.
Yeah.
Started watching some of his performances. I've always loved him since I first heard him with Extreme, and watching some of his live stuff. He's doing what song is that again? I said that in the show the other night too. I'm drawing a blank. Play With Me. And that guitar solo, just how fast that is. And he's doing it live, and he's like yawning, doing a yawn sign, like boring. And I'm like, dude, really? I mean, my fingers are breaking watching you play that. And
and some people could see that as ego, but I see it the same way as like if Eddie yawned while playing,
Zach, it's they've done it. That's what they do, right? I mean, I don't take it the wrong way. To me, I thought it was kind of like kidding. This is boring. Whatever, man.
Ike says we're so dry up here. Lots of folks from back east have had acoustics bridges pop off. I believe it.
Wow.
Old Man Dan says stainless frets aren't for everyone because they do make a tonal difference. I do agree.
That is true.
It will brighten up the sound a bit. I love a bright sounding guitar though. I'm the guy that it would be stainless frets and all the rest brass, and
you don't have to worry about the fretwear too, man. I mean, that's something to be said.
Yeah.
I mean, those things they literally, you want to talk about putting a lifetime guaranteed on something. put them on that. You're just not going to wear it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I did a bit of wear on one. I had a high fret that I still haven't got.
On the stainless steel?
Yeah, on my signature guitar, because it was the thing was only built a week before it flew across the country. So I had a couple of frets left during the move.
Okay.
And Rich tapped one of them down. The other one we couldn't quite tap down. So like it was the 15th fret. And so a couple of chords, as soon as you bent the note, it would fret out. But yeah, so and then I was all set to level the frets. Rich was going to do it, and then Nesdall said, "Give it a couple of months. It might play itself in." And sure enough, the man is right about everything.
Right now, Dave's a great guy, man, and he has anything he says. This is my personal opinion. People may say different, but as far as I'm concerned, anything he says guitar wise, I don't even research it to see if he's right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's literally in the hundreds of things he's mentioned in the last year to me, through shows or what have you, there's been maybe 2 or 3 things I've disagreed on, but it was personal difference.
Exactly. I was going to say, disagree. Yeah. Because that's personal flavor, right? Like, well, how do you like something a little different? But as far as something to what to your point, what you just said, we'll give it a while. It'll play. I mean,
yeah. When it comes to the tech side of things,
exactly.
And sure enough, I can damn near do a full step bend now, and it just barely chokes out. Like the note will still be there, but it's not just dead, not full mute. So it's played itself down a bit. I'm gonna have Rich. I'm sending that and my 71 over to him to work on over the next few weeks. So
yeah, I mean, to me, if the Nesdall sells it for the most part, you can bank on it. He's right. I mean, he's that good. And he's
Will says, have I ever tried an Earl Slick telly with the brass nut and hardware? No, but I do have a brass nut in my 71 telly. Thanks again, Showman Blues. And I love it. It did brighten it up a bit, and it's already a very bright guitar and very light guitar. Extremely light. And clearly ash, because you can see the grain through the wood, even through the paint, you can see the dark of the grain.
Look at that grain.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, this. When I opened this up, well, it's on there. You saw that finish. I was like, oh, really?
All right, there's a question. Well, one, Lando, yes. He says he tried out a couple performer guitars yesterday. Pretty nice. Yeah, and for 25% less cost than an American professional, but they're still U.S. built. I was shocked at that. Great bang for the buck. I think Fender did very well with that line. Soda Pop asks, how does one know when your frets are down? If you have a low fret as opposed to a high fret, you can have a high fret, which obviously will choke out the note on the previous fret. You'll know it's down because it doesn't choke out as much. And high frets can, if they have risen out, they can sometimes pull themselves back in. I know. But then if you do have a high fret, it's best to get a fret level and then a recrown.
Would that sharpen the note when you near it also?
It can, if you're fretting on a high fret, for instance, yes, because it's like one of the things I have to do on pretty much all my guitars is cut the nut slots down further because I hate high nut action.
Okay.
I'll pull chord, because I do so many chords in my playing, and I'm pulling notes out of tune all the time. So that I had to do that with the signature guitar. Travis set it up. He goes, "Oh, how do you love the setup?" I'm like, dude, I cut that nut down to nothing. And he's like, and then when he had to come over a couple days later because I had a bit of an electrical issue with it. And as he's servicing it, he goes to play it and he goes, "This doesn't even feel like the same guitar that I set up 2 days ago." I was like, "No, that's my setup." I said, and so he took notes because part of the idea is when you get my guitar, you get my setup on the guitar.
Cool.
Or as close as we can get to it.
When are you getting into Guitar Center?
Yeah, I wish. That would be amazing.
You don't know. I mean, come on.
I'm gonna hope next year to get some into Ardens. Not even just my signature model, but just renofin guitars in general.
Okay, now I'm sure you thought of this. If you haven't, you should. Make some cards or whatever. Do something, but take the opportunity while you're in NAMM to get the word out.
Yeah.
You know, there's such a thing as dumb luck, right? You lay something down, you hand it, you walk, just you know, if it's in the cards, however you want to put it, and then next thing you know, somebody, you know, you spark somebody's interest.
Yeah.
That would be killer.
Soda Pop, what's a good nut action with a feeler gauge? I don't know, honestly. I don't know because I don't have feeler gauges. I just do it a bit at a time until I'm not pulling it out of tune. Sure, Brad. Ike, we shall talk about that, actually. All right. Let's see here. And hello, Guitar Hack. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you as always. Oh, excuse me. All right. So here, I'll even present myself. Oops. I always forget. Touchpad. The cursor moves on the touchpad, but the buttons don't work. There we go. So here it is. Who was asking? Brad. So it's a Tele style body. As you can see, with an arm relief, which I love. The body is made out of Honduran mahogany. We've got two P90s. This is more your traditional style at about 7 output, then about a 9 output on the bridge, hotter. American modern Tele bridge. Let's see here. 4-way selector switch. So bridge, both pickups out of phase, neck, both pickups in phase, traditional Tele style. 9.5-inch radius on the neck, stainless steel frets, Canadian maple neck, unfinished. Complete, just some stain, a little bit of stain. Give it some color and light spots. Because it is the prototype, folks. Let's see. I think they're Grover style tuners.
Yeah.
And Tusk nut, I do believe. They call what did Travis call this? The Devil Burst. So black into red, and there is some metal flake in it, which is kind of hard to see. No clear coat. I didn't want clear coat on it, so you can still get the wood grain. String through, of course. And they retail for 2,000 Canadian. So that's what, about 1,400 US, 1,500 US range.
I just popped on again. What are you showing off? I'm sorry. I literally just popped on again.
Oh, my signature guitar.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, I know. I still can't believe I have a signature guitar.
Go over it again. I'm sorry, everybody. I was away. I had to go do something real quick.
Hey,
so.
Marsman. Hey, Tom Z49. Welcome, guys. So, yeah, Honduran mahogany.
Guitar hacks here, but go ahead.
Canadian maple neck, oversized headstock, because those are cool. I can't remember the size of the frets, but I asked for vintage size frets. I could go smaller. You can't put a fret too small for me. Stainless frets, unfinished neck, unfinished fretboard, Eddie style, so you get all that DNA in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tusk nut. I think mini Grover tuners, which I should probably wonder if those need to be tightened yet. Doesn't look like it.
The Grover's in there. Nice.
I think so. I don't know.
You got 2 trees on it, I see.
Yeah, well, if you notice, there's quite the relief going down. It's actually, this part is quite thick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something a little different.
That is thick. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, you needed to put a second string tree on it. Standard, old school P90 in the neck, hotter P90 in the bridge.
Now, tell me
to the
real
point
quick
where, yes, I need to put a noise gate back on my pedal board.
Did you voice those pickups, or did you pick up a particular pickup that you wanted to put in there?
I let him run with it.
Really? Okay.
Talk about Well, we were talking about Leo Fender, how he hit it out of the park right away, kind of thing. With the Telly style guitar, the Broadcaster originally, his original amps. These were literally, I believe, the first two pickups Travis ever wound in his life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And he's just like, so what do you think? I'm like, dude, these pickups. He's like, I know, right? And I thought, well, maybe it's just me. Hey, Brian. And then Rich played this thing. And he went from, because we had this idea, Rich was going to design a humbucker to go into his signature guitar, or if it becomes a signature, but his custom guitar. And as soon as he played this, he went, I want those pickups.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then of course the 4-way selector. So you have next to the bridge is the out of phase, your more stratty style. Because I like to go bridge, strat, telly, strat, back and forth.
Right.
Then your neck, then both pickups telly style all the way forward, which is pretty oomphy.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I put one of these switches in my 71 as well.
What kind of pots you use?
They feel high friction. A decent pot. I don't know where he got them. There might be a CTS, but they're a decent pot. He didn't want to chip out anywhere really. Ton of pick dust on it because I've been playing this thing a ton. And of course, the Nerd Halen picks.
Ah, there you go. Okay, represent Caleb.
I should say, since he's already got a second gen pick out.
He does. I saw that.
Which I think I'm down to these 3 and maybe one more because I've given several away to. Because guys, what is this? This is awesome. So I gave them to all my bandmates. My sister got a couple.
Cool. Yeah, I got the old pick. In fact, he sent me a envelope of them a few months back. And then if he buys his shirt, he's putting a pickup on it. So he gave me the old pickup when I got, which I have, right? So I got to bust his onion when I see him.
Actually, come see, it's just the end of the fret. I'm getting most of the notes are ringing through. Oh, it's a 16th fret. That's why. Yeah, they're just buzzing. It's not completely choking out.
What about the finishes? I mean, what options are they as far as the colors and all that other stuff?
This. Just that for now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Although I'm sure he could do other finishes, and then he'll message me, are you okay with putting a different finish on your signature guitar? I'm like, heck yeah. So yeah, it's still got a little bit of refine, like different pickup rings, because these were just hand cut. They're not completely square. As you see, this curve isn't perfect, but again, prototype, right?
Right. I don't know exactly. No, to work.
So then I get to do the cool thing if I ever do a rig rundown, 15 years from now, and people are like, oh yeah, that's your signature guitar. And to a T, I swear all of them still play the original prototypes of their signature guitars, it seems.
That'd be cool. Now, real quick on the back plate.
Yeah.
The neck. Is it just plain? You have any?
Just plain.
Dude, you got to put something fancy on there, man. Come on.
We're looking into that once he gets into engraving and stuff like that. So the funny part is these are built in his living room.
Get out. Really?
One main operation. Yeah. In Victoria, BC. He paints them out on his balcony of his condo.
That is cool, man.
Yeah. So, renofin guitars out of Victoria, BC.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No skunk stripe. Yeah. And I love that arm relief. And it's not radical, but it's just enough. There.
Yeah, you can see the way it tapers off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it saves the arm.
Again, remember like we were talking earlier as far as, why do you buy new guitars and stuff like that? It's the little tweaks that just make a difference.
Why didn't I chamfer the corner of the back plate? Didn't really think of it.
Todd, aka Soda Pop, says, Ben, a green sunburst satin would be cool. That would
be cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, and it plays awesome. Like, I did smooth the neck a bit more. He didn't quite smooth it as much as I did. I took some steel wool to it to really smooth it down, even just that extra little bit. And then, of course, Travis took note. One thing that's interesting, I don't know how well it'll come up on camera, but if you notice, the curve here is not centered.
Show again. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. Put it back.
right at the neck joint. If you notice, this curve is not centered on the neck.
Oh yeah.
And you would think you would have more relief on the finger side, but it's actually the thumb side because you can get your thumb that much closer.
Gotcha. Yep.
Because traditionally you end up playing up here on an angle.
Yes. Yep.
So when I saw it, I was like, well, that's unique as hell. And then I look at how much of my DNA is already there, like right on the nub, and I'm like, yep, it makes sense.
It makes sense. Exactly. Exactly like I was saying earlier with with this little cutaway.
Yep. Yeah, and he kind of went kind of the opposite way, and I was just like, well, that's odd until I played it, and I was like, okay. Same as the only things, because I wanted him to surprise me somewhat, so he came up with the paint scheme. See a Tom Z49?
Bye, Tom.
He insisted on a 9.5-inch radius on the neck. So, I wasn't really sure. Is it a C-neck profile? Sure. I'm not too sure. I just told him I wanted a 60s neck, and then he came back with a lot more. But it is a smaller neck. It does remind me of my 67 quite a bit. So,
Brian also asked earlier, where was it? Hold on. So, he said, he goes, I like the look of the neck on that, Ben. So, yeah, that neck does look comfortable.
And there's just a very slight sprout.
Right? It's not oiled, you said.
No, I haven't oiled it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's very slight sprout. And I'm not surprised. Like, I'm expecting this thing to sprout because, like I say, it was normally you build it, it sits on a guitar stand for 90 days before you ship it. Let it cure, or as like Nesdall says, we keep referencing it doesn't even know it's a guitar yet.
Yeah. Yep. It's still growing, really.
Yeah, because I think it was literally he built it, finished it up on like the Saturday or Sunday, and he was on a plane with it on Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah. And it just made sense because he was in town for a visit, and he was actually delivering another build to another local player as well. He built an Explorer for another guy.
It's going to sprout like a Brussels.
Actually, I think I did cut my hand on one of them because I've got a nice little right inside the palm in here. I got a like dual cut, and I know it's from that's right at the edge of the fretboard.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I didn't even notice it because it was like a paper cut that didn't hurt. And all of a sudden, I'm like, why is there two cuts parallel across my hand?
How the hell did I do that?
Yeah. No, not tall frets. Let's see. I don't know how well this will come out. If it'll focus. But they're not high frets at all. Let's see. Trying to get in closer. I don't know what they'd be. 61, 6105. I don't know the numbers. I just said vintage frets. Definitely not jumbo. I don't like jumbo fret. I can put chords, to tune with jumbo frets.
Now, quick question: if I wanted to buy a guitar, or anybody wanted to buy a guitar, you have a link, I'm sure. First,
yep.
And then I would imagine it has a description of all this stuff.
I believe so. Yeah, it's on the Renofin website. It's no triple W, just Renofin, RENOFIN.ca. Okay.
All right. Well, that's my point. I mean, I'm sure, that everything, literally the entire DNA of that guitar is going to be on that website, so people know exactly what they're buying.
And he's supposed to have up you're able to get the pickups obviously separate as well, and that's supposed to be up on the website too. But I know he's been super busy with his day job as well as the holidays. So,
what else does he do? What's his day job?
He works with. Let me think. He was telling me like he helps people like physiotherapy that have had major injuries, especially head injuries.
Physical therapist. Okay.
Yeah, but more than that. And then he also does like He was doing like fitness classes, like teaching fitness classes, but it would be like your Iron Man type.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he's in wicked shape. Yeah, fitness trainer as well. My sister just typed it in. Yeah, because like remember I'm sure you saw it in the Facebook group. Our friend Fitz, the drummer from Helix, he fell off his roof and got injured. And right after I posted that, Travis messaged me with this huge long message. He's like, "Hey, reach out to me if you want to talk, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, he's an acquaintance. He's not a close friend, but of course we want well wishes, Fitz." And but he's like, "I work with people that are recovering from head injuries all the time. That's what I do, blah blah blah." And then he's, "Oh, by the way, how are your pickups?" Like, great.
Well, if he's doing
Soda Pop, do I cover Midnight Oil in your set? Yes, we do. Beds Are Burning. We do it badly.
That's a good tune, though. That's a good tune.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job of it. And then I would think I was on my way to band practice, and they played it on the radio, and I was like, "We don't do that part. We totally forgot about that part. That part we do earlier in the song." Cineras, I need a delay and a reverb pedal. Any suggestions? Analog or digital delay? That's my question. Analog or digital? I suppose you could do both if you got the DD7. I think Boss DD7 does both. That TC Electronics one, the flashback delay, is pretty cool. I wouldn't get the mini because I like the option of 3 tone prints instead of 1. A reverb pedal. Yes, the Fender reverb pedal. The Santa Ana? No, that's the overdrive. Carbon copy is a good one, Old Man Dan. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If you just need analog, just go for a carbon copy.
I was just going to say carbon copy.
Yeah, I've had one on my board since before I had a band to play my board with. Yeah. I built my first pedal board after, I would say a few months after meeting Richie, because we'd hang out at his place twice a week, and we were always jamming and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I got all these pedals. I'm building a pedal board for myself. And so I built my first pedal board and then transferred it into a coffin-shaped case, and that was pedal board. I used that thing for, 2.5 years with One Day to Live. That thing saw a lot of gigs. That board was falling apart by the time I left that band.
But it sounds like for your money, you'd lean towards the carbon copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my Santa. I could be. My dad is Santa, if you see my dad.
My father, God rest his soul, when he got older, he had the white beard. He looked just like Santa. We used to go around, like going like 7-Eleven or a store, me and him. Kids would come up to him. Is that Santa? And I remember one time he's like, "Yeah," said something. "Yeah, I am." And the kid didn't believe him, so he reaches down. The kid grabbed his beard and pulled on it. He's like, "It is Santa." Like, yeah, it's my Santa. Santa Coombs.
Yeah, that would be my dad. Although he doesn't have a full beard these days. He shaved it into a goatee. So
did he really?
Yeah.
Cool. How old your old man now?
What would he be? 71? 72?
God bless him.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yep. Still keeping me up at night watching YouTube videos of rockabilly tracks. You're just nodding off to sleep in his computer rooms across the hall, and I'll hear some Eddie Cochran or something like that, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
He's 71, says a man.
71.
Yep.
I thought so. Yes, because I missed his 70th birthday last year, unfortunately. But he gave me an easy out. He says, "No, you're more than welcome," because I was going to see Tom Petty in concert.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of my regrets in my life. I never saw Tom Petty live. I've seen so many. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, over 1,000 concerts. Just from the clubs and everything. So many big acts. Never saw Tom Petty, man.
Richie came across some interesting video. Mike Campbell playing some of Tom's stuff. Okay? And singing it.
Really?
And as happens, like I'm sure you've noticed a lot of guys that like sing in bands with a dedicated singer, they start sounding like that singer regardless.
Mm.
You know, like because you're doing the backup vocals that probably the lead singer laid down multiple tracks in the studio, but you're doing it live. And he goes, dude, you know, and it's not like Tom Petty is the greatest singer in the world, God rest his soul.
No.
But he does a really good Tom Petty. And I said, you know what? I would love to see the Heartbreakers go out on tour, continuing that music, you know.
That'd be now. See, I'd go see that because I've never seen them, and I guess that would be something that the Petty estate would have to, you know, give their blessing to.
Exactly. But I could see, you know, he does 1 or 2 songs a night now with Fleetwood Mac. Because if for those that don't know, Mike Campbell's been touring with Fleetwood Mac, and I guess you know they're like, hey, you know, we got a decent guitar player playing with us this tour. We could do. I can't remember what song it was. They mentioned a song from back in the day that they could cover, and then they're like, well, who's going to sing it? Maybe it was a Peter Green song or something like that. And then Mike's like, I'll sing it. If I'm playing it, I'll sing it.
Well, what's that song? Drawing a blank now. That Petty did with Stevie Nicks. Heart. The duet they did. They could do something like that live. Somebody in the chat will know.
Oh, Stop Dragging My Heart Around?
Yeah.
No, that's Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks.
It is, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Because that was the funny part was Stevie Nicks for her first solo album was basically Stevie Nicks and the Heartbreakers. That was the backing band.
Yeah, they were really close in real. You know, they were close friends.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember reading an article or something with that Stevie was talking about that they were really, really good friends.
Yeah. Well, she always wanted to join the Heartbreakers, right? And they're like, "Sorry, no girls allowed." In that typical Tom Petty smirk.
He broke her heart.
John Parson, what flavor? I'm doing a Swedish berries. It's called Blue Tango. New at Stinky Canuck.
I love that name, by the way.
Yeah.
That is just awesome.
Let's see. How do you get rid of wolf tone notes? I don't know what wolf tone notes are, Soda Pop.
I don't either. What is that? Wolfie Van Halen?
Peter Wolf from Jay Giles Band? Because he opened for Tom Petty when I went to see Tom.
There you go. Yeah, what is wolf tone notes? I'm curious now. Come on, Todd.
Yep, we're waiting. Everyone's loving Stevie. Yeah, I had some friends see her on her last tour, and she's still going.
They just finished up the Fleetwood Mac tour, and they might be still going. Are they still going? I don't even know.
I think they're still touring.
I think so.
And I think tonight is the night, if I'm not mistaken, that Cheap Trick is playing the Cavern Club.
Cheap Trick, dude. I saw Cheap Trick open up for Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah.
Which just shows that they open for everybody, because somebody referenced the other night they saw them open for Motley Crue.
Really?
Yeah. So a band that opens for both Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Motley Crue. What does that say?
That is crazy, man. They're also, as far as I'm concerned, they're so underrated. They've got so many good tunes, man. God, they got, and Rick Nielsen, he's you know, I mean, he's not, you know, the flash, but he's another underrated guitarist as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, very.
Yes. And writer, as far as, you know, writing stuff. I mean, yeah. And on that tour, he came out with the 7-neck guitar.
Yep. Yeah, he still uses all of his vintage hammers on stage and stuff.
I remember seeing it. I was like, what the frick is that? It was this big. Yeah. Back in the 80s, you know, you didn't have the internet, so it was a surprise, right? I mean, nobody was going to happen. Yeah.
Good stuff.
That was a great show. That show had that was the original ELP lineup too. So I was lucky enough to see the whole band. They were one of my favorite bands growing up, ELP.
Great stuff.
ELP, Rush, Van Halen, they're up there.
Nice.
Yeah. Rush is my favorite. We talk about this, you know, in Giants too. Van Halen and Rush. It goes like this.
Sure. I never got to see either of those bands live. I would have liked to, but
I've
Rush
seen
is
Van
just
Halen #1 most times, upwards over 20, way over 20. Don't remember how many. And Rush is #2.
nice.
Yeah.
See you, Brian.
Take care, Brian.
Oh, cool. Marsman had played in a band called Frenzy and opened for Cheap Trick in '77 in Peoria, Illinois.
Now that is badass. So did you obviously I'm sure you did. You met the guys and everything. How were they? Were they cool? From what I understand, they were.
Sure, Denny. Have fun. Make videos. Why not?
Hey, Brad.
Brad says, what a Canadian that's never seen Rush.
I'm just going to read that.
I've seen concerts on TV. I've owned concert DVDs and stuff, but see you, sis. But like for me, it would be going to Toronto. It's 100 miles each way. It's by far the most expensive city in Canada. You know, so you're paying through the nose for everything. You're going to want to stay overnight.
Hi, Amanda.
It's not a cheap deal.
Well, that's where we used to always stay when we came up there. Always on Yonge Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I tell you right now, Toronto's a happening town. That is a cool place, man.
Oh yeah.
If I was going to move to Canada, I'd probably go there.
Oh yeah, Queen Street, which runs perpendicular. It's like near the bottom of Yonge. Queen Street West. It's just like sort of like the Sunset Strip. You know, there's got to be a dozen clubs along that street, and I've played half of them, I think. And I'll say, you know, there's electricity in the air. Like I understand, you know, like people talk about the Sunset Strip because I remember one night I was headlining at a club downtown Toronto, and they wouldn't let our drummer in because he was underage. He was 18, and you have to be 19 as the drinking age. Even though his father is in the band as well and could vouch for him, they wouldn't let him in.
Wow.
So we spent, I don't know, 4 hours hanging outside of this venue, just out on the sidewalk. And I just sat there on the curb and on a hot summer night, and I think it was like June or July, and you could just feel the electricity. You know, people walking by, 3, 4 wide each way. And, great, you smell of booze in the air, weed in the air. Who cared? Cops didn't care. They're walking around.
It's like me in Manhattan. Manhattan is just the city never sleeps. It's electric. That's island. It's a small island, man. Is electric.
You go into this little club. The club's supposed to hold, say, 150 people, and there's 250 in the place, just jammed in. It took me. The stage was maybe 12 feet inside the front door, and it took me 5 minutes to get to the stage.
Really?
Just past.
Wow. Cool, man.
And we go on late, and they're talking about cutting our set short because of how late it was. So, we bribed the sound guy to keep the sound going. I was drenched in sweat just setting up my gear because, it had to be 110 degrees in the club.
But how electric was that? The feeling being.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, screw it. One song in, I'm shirtless. Les Paul hanging around my knees, rocking the Lemmy Burns stash at the time, and then just balls out metal for an hour and a half straight.
And
then we went and partied on a yacht.
Right. Rick Emmett is one of the most underrated guitar players out there. I've seen Triumph a few times.
Super nice guy too. All those guys.
You met him?
Oh yeah, I recorded at their studio. You knew that.
No, remind me. Story.
Yeah, the album I recorded with One Day to Live, we rented Metalworks Studios.
That's right. Yeah, Metalworks. Okay, but say it again because that's just too awesome.
Yeah. So what was happening? That's like by far that's the #1 studio in Canada. It's a world-class studio. Like if you've seen the photos of the gold records on the walls, everybody from like Sum 41, Guns N' Roses, to Cher, to Tina Turner. Rush did several albums. Obviously, Triumph did all their albums for the most part.
Rush did a few albums there. Yeah.
Several. Yeah. And so me being a jerk, if you want to call it a smartass, we had a business manager at the time who said, you guys need to make a demo. And he says, so where do you want to record? Hey, Michael B. And I said, Metalworks Studios.
Of course.
Why not? Shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at a hand.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. And I already had some backups in my mind. Cherry Hill Studios in Toronto, for those know. a few places I had in mind in my head where albums were recorded, so I knew there was decent gear. And so my buddy's like, okay, well, I'll see if it's available. Well, as we know, albums used to be recorded, you know, like you would rent a studio for a 3-month block. They don't do that anymore. Now you rent by the hour. It doesn't matter who you are.
Really?
And you know, in the days of going into the studio at 7 at night and recording all night, for the most part, mainstream wise, gone as well. All these artists, they all work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday on their albums.
What a difference.
You know, and then do whatever at night. So as such, the studio started renting out their space after hours at a reduced rate. So we were able to rent the studio for the same cost as renting some guy's basement studio. You know, like I think at that time it was $100 an hour Canadian.
Wow.
And I went, okay. I said, well, I have one extra caveat. And they said, what? Make sure it's studio number 1, because that's the original studio with the original board. You know, that's the board that all the iconic albums came out of. Okay. So we rented Studio 1 for Labor Day weekend one year. Got a few hotel rooms just up the road. And we went in. We showed up at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. And we hit it hard for 8 hours. And then we went in the next morning again at 9 a.m. And we hit it hard for another 6 hours or so. And we laid down 8 tracks in 2 days.
Damn.
Like, we're talking scratch tracks, guitars, bass, drums, vocals, everything but mixing was done. And the biggest reason was they had upgraded their infrastructure.
Was there somebody there that from the studio that was working for you? I would imagine, yeah, right?
Yes.
Working the board. So okay.
And that guy was. They also have a school there, the Metalworks Institute, where you learn how to record. A recording college, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
And one of the guys who runs the college came up with this idea to rent out the studio after hours, and he was our engineer. We produced it ourselves, and then the guys went up a few weekends after that to do the mixes and stuff like that, which I'm honestly not happy with the final mix, but I wasn't involved in that process, unfortunately. But yeah, the big thing was
happy with it. What didn't you like about it? Just curious.
Well, let's say the band consisted of 2 brothers and one of the brothers' sons, and then 2 of us. And the 2 of us you could barely hear on the album.
Wow.
I was mixed rather back.
Sounds like Metallica. And Justice for All.
Yeah.
You can't hear Jason Newsted at all.
No, like I had a very dark tone at the time, and I sounded more like a distorted bass on half the tracks.
That, you know, why would you sabotage something? That's sabotage as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You're not advancing the final product. It's going to sound like crap. For what? Inside
well,
joke?
it was, put it this way, that album was the first red flag for me for my exit from the band, I think 15 months later, but it was the first red flag of a few, you know.
All right. That's
so
wrong.
I went, okay, so this is how it's going to work.
That's wrong.
Situation.
That's not right. Is there I mean, do you have a link? I don't even know to buy that. Is that available? Can anybody get it?
I think the band is still selling the album because honestly, they haven't recorded anything since.
I'm just gonna ask you too. What happened to those brothers?
Well, you know, I don't like to speak ill of people, but
I never do either.
When I joined the band, I joined them because they were the busiest band in the area. It wasn't for the type of music they played, and they were playing just around here. You know, once, twice a month. And when I joined, next thing you know, we're playing in Toronto once a month, headlining every time. No money, you know, like it was gas money, but it was getting our name out there, etc. We recorded an album. We played some festivals. And I quit the band, and I think they played 3 shows this year. And I quit the band 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And the year I quit the band, I played
bad, by the way. You're just telling a story. You're not speaking bad. You're telling them a fact. I mean,
exactly. Like the year I left the band, we played maybe 8 shows in 7 months, and I ended up playing 30 shows that year by the end of the year. because when I quit the band mid-July, let's say 2 years ago, I had already started up in another band April of that year, a cover band, the first cover band I played in with Rich. And I joined that band as a side project because traditionally they only played 3 or 4, maybe 5 times in a year. So I thought, yeah, that's a nice little side deal to do. And then as soon as I joined that band, we were playing 1 to 2 shows a weekend, every weekend for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of private events, like parties, like you'd do a barbecue. You'd have us come out and play. That type thing. Because it was classic rock with a female singer. And I said at first I was really against it because I was like, we're not in high school. I don't want to play house parties. But then you find out the host of the party generally has it tied in with an event, like maybe a charity golf thing or something like that. So they were paying more than a bar, and the crowds were 4 times as big because a lot of people were camping because it's rural, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, you're playing pig roasts, stuff like, people are drinking, they're having a great time. And every single show, I'd have at least 2 people walk up and say, thank God nobody just plugged in an iPod.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See that?
They're like the fact, we got a pig on the fire. Yeah. We got a live band.
I mean, think about it, really. I mean, what's better than a band having live music?
Exactly.
I mean, you can iPod all you want. Nothing wrong with iPod, but I mean, having a band entertain a crowd at a function like that goes so long.
Because you got your normal pay, and then you add in all the perks. The perks would be you're going to get fed, guaranteed, because there's always food.
Yep.
Free drinks, whether it be usually a cooler, a bottled water on stage for us. And then all you had to do was walk up to the microphone and say, anybody got a spare pint? And you had 8 people hand you a beer.
Oh, absolutely.
Load in and load out was amazing because there's always 4 guys that are like, hey, we'll help you carry the gear. And they got a PA speaker on each shoulder. And you're like, thanks. Okay. So your back isn't screwed up. And generally you would be done fairly early too, because you'd be wrapping up by 10:30, 11 at night. And they're like, hey, do you want to go until the cops show up?
I was just going to say that you had to do it because they get permits to do these kinds of things.
Exactly. And if they didn't have a permit, we would go until the cops showed up. And as soon as the cops showed up, we're like, okay, we'll tear it down.
Yep.
But, you're already scheduled to play from, say, 7 until 11. Well, can you play another hour? Well, here's another $100. We're like, okay, sure.
Turn the amp on.
Yep. Amp is no longer in standby, folks.
Exactly. Well, that's badass. Well, that's cool.
Soda Pop asks, how do I get a Leslie West sound? What guitar do I need? Les Paul Jr. Les Paul Jr. into a Marshall.
Another underrated guitar player.
Yes.
Massively. In fact, he was one of Randy Rhoads' favorites.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
Zach Wilde too is a huge fan of Leslie West.
Yeah, Leslie West is so good. Another underrated band, in my opinion, from your neck of the woods, BTO, and I saw them live a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Love Bachman. Not
Randy,
Fragile is a
Randy Bachman
from first track to end. Not Fragile, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. Love that.
Oh yeah, Randy Bachman, amazing rock player, amazing jazz player that most people don't know about.
I did not know that. Really?
Oh yeah, he has a whole second career as a jazz player, really. Or anything for that matter. He can play anything and everything.
Okay, now I have a new homework project. I'm gonna, because I love the dude. I gotta check that out. Any suggestions? Any album that sticks out in your head that you know of?
No, because I never followed his jazz stuff.
Okay, I gotta listen to it though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did a search for like Randy Bachman and jazz.
Oh, it'll pop right up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But BTO is great, and that album, Not Fragile. What a great album.
Yep. And before that, you had the Guess Who.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. You had the Fender Stratocaster, and then you had the Gibson SG on that album. The Stratocaster, the sound of that album, again, just in the 80s, I'm a young dude. That was one of the things that hooked me on the sound of a Fender Strat. the sound of that guitar on that album,
Yep.
that Richie Blackmore's, and of course Hendrix, but those two did that. That's what did it for me as far as the Fender Strat. Yeah.
See you, Soda Pop.
Night, Soda Pop.
Yeah, Old Guys Guitars vlog says BTO was awesome. Yep, Randy Bachman kills it with jazz. Check iTunes.
I'm on it, old guys. Thank you. Definitely got to check that out.
Yeah, good stuff. And we have a local connection to BTO as well. Randy signed a local band from here in the early days of BTO to his own fledgling label and was giving them the push. But unfortunately, it was like it was a trio of two brothers and another guy, and one of the brothers, I believe, passed away. Or no, the other guy passed away, and it was left with the two brothers because I'm friends with the son of one of the guys that was in that band. And it was his dad's Les Paul that Randy Bachman used actually for the recording of American Woman.
No way.
Yeah, so actually comes to yes, Randy had started the label while he was still with the Guess Who because they were touring together. You know, and it's one of those things, you know, you have a down day on the tour, you go into the studio.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, that iconic, all that lead fuzz stuff was done on my buddy's dad's Les Paul.
One of the most iconic.
Randy didn't have one at the time.
One of the most iconic riffs right there, man.
Yeah.
And that just oozes rock and roll.
Yeah, good call. Guitar Hack, Blue Collar. That's pretty jazzy.
Thank you, Zach.
And what I didn't realize with BTO until I saw a later incarnation called Bachman Turner, which was just Randy Bachman and Fred Turner, how much Fred Turner sang in that band. Like, I thought Randy did most of the singing.
So did I. I didn't know that Fred. Really? Okay.
Yeah, like whenever you hear that little bit grittier voice, like really rocking, you know, like Rolling Down the Highway, that's Fred Turner singing.
That's a good point. Now you mentioned that because there is a difference in, yeah, okay.
But I always figured, you know, it's just Randy belting it out more. That's what my thought process was.
I wonder if he's saying on Rock Is My Life and This Is My Song on from Not Fragile. Because that has a gritty voice in it. I gotta look that up now. That's interesting.
Yep.
They were great live again. Like I said,
yeah.
Awesome band. Awesome band. No Sugar Tonight, Boys. What is that?
Song.
Huh?
There's a new Mother Nature taking over.
Oh, it's Randy. Okay, thank you, Guitar Hack. Okay.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, Hack knows all.
Yes, he does. He's a guitar encyclopedia. Music, I should say. We change that.
See you, Ike. Thanks for stopping in. If I don't talk to you beforehand, I'll see you at NAMM. We'll definitely hook up. Oh, cool. Lando says he saw Guess Who in 2000, last time the original members reunited for a tour.
Okay, Will Valera said, in New York, I want to know where you're from, by the way, Will. As a teenager, I would play Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. Circuit on Friday nights. We were paid $125 for a 4-hour set. Wow. Okay. Plus food and drink. Not bad. That's pretty cool.
Will, yeah, he grew up in the Bronx, now lives in Oyster Bay.
Oh, that's right. He said Oyster Bay. Okay. Yep. Okay.
See you, Old Guy's Guitar Vlog. Have a great week, too. Or as well.
Anybody going to the Kiss reunion?
I think Guitar Hack is.
There's a bunch of stuff online that they're using backup tracks and they're getting killed for it. And I'm like, you know, bands of that age.
Well, there's backing tracks and then there's backing vocal tracks, and that's
what Paul Stanley's getting killed for online.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? You know, if you like the band, you're gonna go see the show and support them. If you don't, you don't. That's you know how I look at it. I've never seen Kiss ever in my life, and they were one of my favorite bands growing up in the 70s.
I wanted to, but by the time I was old enough to go to concerts, I didn't want to go see them. You know, like I would want to see them pre-1980.
I want to see them I want to see them with Ace, okay, and Peter.
Yeah.
I may pull a trigger and go to that show. I'm still on the fence. It's not sold out here. because the ticket prices are insane.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I was almost thinking, like, for the price of a Kiss concert, I might wait and go see the Stones.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're touring here too. I've seen the Stones twice. I'm not going to go. They're playing at the Pepsi.
It could be an amazing show since Keith's finally playing sober for the first time ever.
That's a good point, right? You know, he's got his brain is so damaged from all the booze and drug use. Does he even know he's sober?
Yeah, residual.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Joe Cocker opened for the Guess Who. That would have been an amazing show, Landon.
Oh, that would have been cool. I like Joe Cocker, man.
Oh, I'm a huge Joe Cocker fan.
Me too. Me too. You know, what I find out about Joe Cocker, you either like him or you hate him. Because I know there's no in between for some reason. I think it's cool, man. I think it's really good.
And it's guys like him that, you know, like I used to bash bands that didn't write their own material. But then you have guys like that whole genre of the singer, you know, like Joe Cocker. He doesn't write his own stuff. He's handed a piece of music.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so, you know, it's one of those things like I would be like, oh, I don't like this band. They don't write their own material. They have ghostwriters. Well, so what? Yeah.
Holy moly. Guitar Hack, you seen Kiss 20 times?
I believe it.
I do too. That's awesome.
He's also met Bruce Kulick on a couple of occasions.
Cool.
Including, I think he was telling me one of his friends bought one of Bruce's guitars. Like one of those like played on stage type situations, so then you get to meet him as well.
That's badass. That is cool.
Yeah, the new Hammers are not like the old Hammers, Dogba. I got a buddy locally. He's a huge Hammer fan. He's owned dozens of Hammers over the years.
Right back.
Alrighty. Okay, Guitar Hacks met everyone in Kiss. Well, there you go. That's pretty damn cool. Current and former. Wow. So, like, every member, period, like, we're even including Eric Carr, Mark St. John, Vinnie Vincent. Just curious. So, I assume, yeah, you would have met Eric Singer for sure, because he's done a few stints with the band. Obviously, Paul and Gene. But how cool was Ace meeting Ace? That's what I'm curious on. Mark, Vinny, Eric, Tommy, Ace, Peter, Paul, Gene. Dang. And obviously Bruce. Dang, that is everybody, isn't it? And that's why we can't crack the hack. Yeah, Eric would have been a great guy to meet, I think. He seemed like a gentle soul. Right on. We still got 31 people watching. Unknown number of thumbs ups. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like what we're doing. If you don't like what we're doing, I understand it. You know, just talking gear, as we usually do in these things. So any questions or anything? I'm not sure how much longer we'll go, but go a while longer yet. I think I'm caught up here.
Sorry about that, Ben. I had him get an update with Davey. He I told you earlier before we went on, he was getting his fluids tonight.
Right.
The thing of it is the fluids make him feel so much better. So after you give him the fluids, he'll start eating, and that's how we get him to eat the fluid. It's every other day. Then we also have a different mixture of potion that we give him. It's all about him. And so I just got an update, and sounds like he ate decent tonight. So
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, it's been a long 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's all good, man. He's our little fighter. Ain't no way about that.
Dogpuss says he saw Montrose open for Kiss in the 70s. Montrose so blew them away. That would have been an amazing show.
I've seen Ronnie Montrose a few times. I saw him actually down in a small little club in Manhattan. Never saw Gamma though, which is one of my favorite bands. Montrose was obviously in it, and another, I should say underrated, because if you know, gearheads and guitar people know him, but a lot of people don't realize how many guitarists he's influenced, and how good he was.
Oh yeah,
God, he was awesome. I mean, he was doing some serious crazy licks back then when people just weren't playing like that. And we're talking literally the early 70s.
Oh yeah, like I remember. It's one of those things, especially with radio nowadays, because they're limited to what they can play from certain companies.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is they choose what to play. And plus, in Canada, radio stations have to play 30% Canadian music. So that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, the idea was so we wouldn't be invaded by American culture, essentially.
Okay.
So a way to give Canadian artists a leg up, they invented CanCon, which is Canadian content. And to be considered a Canadian station, you need to play 30% or more Canadian music, which is awesome because we have a whole music scene here that the rest of the world doesn't know about of great music. And these guys are making a living because they can sell out a hockey rink in Canada, whereas they might just be playing club shows in the US.
Again, look at Rush, right? They're a perfect freaking example. I think they broke in Detroit, a little station in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, Jay Hannon's in the house. Hey, Jay.
Hey, how you doing, man? Rush, they come in. They some DJ just heard them. They were touring all around the US, obviously, little club like you were just mentioning.
Yep.
Some DJ took a chance on them, right? And now, I mean, obviously, they were that good before they ever got discovered. I mean, it's Rush, right? Yep. But they needed a chance. So
exactly.
There's something to be said about something like that. Now, I know a lot of people don't like, you're forcing them to play or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I guess there's plus and minuses about it. But as far as I'm concerned, there's so much untapped talent out there. There really is. It's just getting the word out. And now, that's another good plus besides meeting all you guys, the internet.
Yep.
You can get your message out there a lot easier nowadays than like a struggling young band from.
And that's the thing. And as a result, for whatever reason, Montrose never made it onto the radio. Right? Let's say in the classic rock area. So after 1990, and so I missed them in the first place because you were limited to, the current radio hits and whatever your parents' record collection was. That's your exposure to music.
Yeah.
And I remember, so it was about maybe 5-6 years ago. I'm driving to work and Rock Candy came on. And I almost had to pull over.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is that? Because he had me at the riff. And then Sammy comes in being full on Sammy. And I'm just like, whoa, what do we got going on here, folks?
Think of how many, by the way, speaking of Sammy, how many guitar gods did this guy play with?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he can hold his own. He can play an
Yeah, that's the funny part, too. Yeah. And he always said that. I saw a video of him just the other day, and Sammy was saying, like, they said, you played with so many iconic people. And he said, hey, I always just showed up as the second guitar player. And then everyone looked around in the garage and they're like, well, who can sing? And he's like, well, I guess I can sing. Well, boom, he's pushed out front as the singer,
Yep. Yes, by the way, congratulations, Jay. Gloria was going nuts about that. Yep, you were correct.
North champs. There we go.
Chicago Bears are the NFC North champs. And you guys are going to have a lot of say in the playoffs, no doubt about it. That defense reminds me of the 85 Bears, which, I mean, they're a Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That is a scary team. Nobody's going to want to play the Bears. I can tell you that much. No two ways about that.
I'm going to assume Jay wasn't wearing his new jersey then.
What's that?
The one that Brian gave him. because apparently once his buddy Brian there gave him the jersey he was saying on Friday that the Bears have been sucking or something like that. Or
man, I'll tell you right now, I have the NFL package, so I watch all the games. That you like defense, put on Chicago, man. That's a fun team to watch.
Right.
They beat the crap out of all the teams, man. They're a good team. They're gonna go deep, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one, Dog. But he says in the '80s, someone asked Thorogood why he didn't write his own songs. He said Chuck Berry already wrote them all.
Nice. Oh, cool. Will Valera said he saw Ronnie Montrose when he started with Edgar Winter. Wow.
That's showing your age, Will.
That's showing your age is right, but not only that, that is cool.
Montrose played at my high school, Denny Allen said. That was like, I spent some time living in Windsor, Ontario, which is right across the river from Detroit. And I worked at a restaurant for a couple of months, and my boss there was saying how Bob Seger used to play their high school like 3 times a year.
I got tickets to Bob Seger in January, February. One of those. Forget what it is. Yeah, to make up. Never saw him live. You know, the thing of it is, there's so many artists that I always liked, but one, I mean, I can tell you so many stories. I just never went to see them, right? I figured they're always going to be around. Bob Seger I've always liked, so I'm going to see that. This one, I'm going to tell you next. I'm still to this day in this chat room probably going to abuse the hell out of me, and rightfully so, by the way, everybody. You can stop. Les Paul. He played every Monday night down in the Village, and my mom, God rest her soul, always said, go down and see him. She knows how much I love guitar and how much I love him. I never went. And that sticks in my craw, man. That drives me nuts. Warren Zevon's another one. Always loved Warren. Never saw. So originally when I had the tour, he had to cancel it because he had a back problem, and then scheduled it, and there was still some tickets left. And when the reschedule came up, I was like, that's it, done. I'm there. So I guess the motto of the story is go see your bands. You know, support them. Go check them out. And I'm loving it, Jay. I'm loving it. This thing is, the neck is butter. It's beautiful. I played it for a while last night. In fact, I woke up one of my neighbors, from what I understand. I didn't know, man. I was half in the tank when I was on the show with Jay and Johnny last night, and I plugged in my 50-watt Fender Machete amps. By the way, if anybody doesn't know about that, it's a discontinued amp that was like $2,700 new. I got this thing freaking for $800 new.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
discontinued because it was it's their high gain amp before, and then people are like, well, they can't do high gain. Well, you know, who makes Eddie's amps? So you know, that's just not true. But I guess I put up a little too loud, and a comment was passed earlier today that everybody knows I have a new guitar. But I'm digging it, man. Cool, loving it.
Will says, I'm sold. I think I've seen all the greats of yesteryear. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, fortunately, if I crank it up, if I use any of these amps behind me, they all face away from the rest of the house. So,
Guitar Hack, have a good night, man.
And I really don't care if I piss off the neighbors.
I don't either. That's my point. When Glory told me about that, I'm like, yeah. I just walked.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it is, I used to live in the country. I didn't ask them to build the subdivision next door.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't put up that.
Yeah. You know, they say, hey, we didn't know we moved in next to a musician. Well, you should have asked.
Or ask the other neighbors. I've been here since 2010. They know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the neighbors at the other end of the road, they know full well, because I have a door out to a patio right off this room, and I used to wheel my half stack out onto the patio and play outside.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The neighbors were well aware of every song I played.
Yeah, this is a badass guitar, man. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And like we were saying earlier, Ben, you know, I've been, you know, I told you I get the thin line. I could break that out if you want to look at it. I got it right over here, the Squire. But I've had my eye on something that is, you know, real. I hate to say that word because the Squire is great. It's a great guitar.
Oh yeah.
But something like this, I've had my eye on for a while, and this new is like $2,000. I got this. I told you it was a store model. People were playing on it, and I paid $12.50 for this.
Oh, beautiful.
$12.50, dude, delivered.
And those aren't going for that used. They're probably still 1,500 used.
Exactly. It was a Black Friday, extended Black Friday deal, whatever. And it was on Reverb, and Reverb had a flash sale where they took, I think it was an extra 50. It was 15% off the price that they were originally asking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it dropped down to $12.50. And when I saw that pop up, because in Reverb, you check off what you're looking for, you get the notices and everything like that. They're always showing you what's coming up. So I took my phone up. I had an instant message, whatever, to pop on. And looking, I was like, "What? Huh? Huh? Yeah,
yeah."
and I bought it. So
says he lives over commercial property I rent. So when they go home, I crank it as loud as I want, which is awesome. Will says, I have no problem cranking it up. I live less than 200 feet from the beach. Perfect. And Jay's headed out because it's Ellie's bedtime. See you, Jay. Thanks for jumping in.
Yay. Thank you, brother. Have a good night,
Congrats again on your Bears. Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
Congratulations.
Tuesday.
I'll be following those Bears. That's Glory's team, so I'll be following those Bears.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, we'll probably wrap up in a little bit here. So,
by the way, Terry, thank you. He's right. The Fender Machete was a high gain hybrid. It's even more gainier than the Dual Sonic. Like Shane mentioned, $800 is a great deal for sure. It was. I mean, that's one of those things. I got that on. I bought that a few years back. I think it was eBay. eBay? I'm not sure. I think it was eBay or something like that. But I saw that pop up. That's one of those things. I saw it. I knew about it. The fact that I had heard about it from Anderton's.
Okay.
The captain and
yep. And Rob.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, man, that thing sounds great. So I started looking into it, and then I got a notice, like I was saying, kind of like the Reverb thing, and I didn't think twice about it. I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Sure.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, just give a beh.
I think my plan for tomorrow is hooking up my Marshall head into my Vox cab.
What speaker you have in that Vox? Because you said that they took the guts out. Now it's just basically a cab.
Yeah, it's a Celestian in it. I know that much.
Do you know what type?
Oh no, take a look.
Yeah. I'd be curious.
Oh, if I can see it. It is a G12P80.
G12C80?
P as in Peter, 80.
P80. Okay.
See if I can get a better look at it.
Now, I'm not familiar with that particular speaker. Anybody, do you know about it at all, or does anybody in the chat room know about it?
Yeah, G12P80, folks. G12P80. And then it says Ipswich, England below that. So,
do you know about that? I've never heard of that, to be honest with you. So it'd be interesting to see how it sounds.
See you, Sinner.
Sinner, good night, Sinner. Have a great week, brother.
I'll say, technically, since people are saying what year their first concert was, can I say my first concert was a music festival, 1974, and I think I was 2 or 3 months old.
And Will Valeria says, I have no problem cranking it up. I live less than 200 feet from the beach. Nice.
Perfect.
You might get some whales pissed off, but...
Yeah. Stan Adams. Hey, buddy. He says, Telly, one of the only guitars I've not owned, maybe down the road. Definitely. Even a cheap one, like those Affinity Series Squires. I love the necks. For whatever reason, they put like no finish on them. I love them.
I tell you what, let me pick up real quick. It's right here. Let me grab that other the Squire, okay? Again, this thing, to me, I love it. But This other guitar, there is nothing wrong with it. It has great sound. It just does a little bit of feedback, like I was saying earlier in the show, when you go kind of high gainy. So let me grab that real quick.
Sure.
Get a look at just the way it's made.
My uncle was at Woodstock, Dogpa. Actually, he had heard about a concert that Jimi Hendrix was playing, so he rode his motorcycle down from Toronto to Woodstock.
That is badass.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't think he paid. I think he was one of the fence hoppers. He just told me about the miles and miles of backed up traffic, and he just drove up the shoulder of the road on his motorcycle. Yeah, so anybody looking forward to getting a new piece of gear in the chat? I'm curious on. I wasn't expecting to get any gear today, but hey, things happen.
Sorry, I had to go.
I'm working on that along with my guitar over the winter, and yes, I hate sticky finishes too. Good, Stan. That's what I'd like to hear.
I had to go to the aft side of the boat.
Oh yes,
it was in the wrong room.
There she be.
This is the Fender Squire thin line, rosewood neck. Got the obvious cutout there. It also has custom Seymour Duncan pickups.
Nice.
Yeah.
6 saddle.
Yep.
I dig that. That's the other mod I do.
Yeah. But again, remember this, right? This is a Squire.
Yep.
These are not. I mean, they're not as expensive, obviously, because where they're made. But a lot of them. That's just a piece of dirt there. A lot of the components are, American made.
Yep.
So where is this made? This is made in China.
It's a 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm reading the serial number upside down.
Yep.
December.
The right side up then. There you go. It's backwards.
GG&34 off the production line that month. Yes, that's great. Terry had one of those.
Oh, really? Cool.
Change out.
And this is a freaking damn good guitar, man. So, pick one of these up, man. I mean, it plays great. The one thing I've been meaning to do, and I probably will one of these days when I get the money, nothing's cheap, right? Change out the tuners, because the tuning is not the best, but that's because they have to skimp. They see what Duncan pickups, so they're not crap, right? Yeah. So they have to skimp on certain things to keep it to a certain price point.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's like anything else, right? You buy it, you know what you're getting. You buy it for whatever reason you want it for. The pickups, the neck. The neck is beautiful. The neck is nice on this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like a guitar at any price point for, and then throw $200 into it and upgrades.
There you go. Exactly.
And you'll never have to, it'll be amazing.
Nope. You're on stage with it. You literally can play with it. No problem. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's it. I played everything from cheap guitars to classic guitars on stage. And if it plays good, it plays good. I don't care what the name is on the headstock or.
Just think of one of, our idols, Eddie. Okay.
Yep.
He built what he wanted, right? And the stuff that he made, I mean, he gutted everything out with his Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
It's what you like. What works for you. And when you think about it, if you look at that, I think there was a good article about the original price of the entire Frankenstein guitar, the original one. It was not a lot of money.
No. Because you figure the body was a factory second, so that's going to be nothing.
Yeah.
The neck, a decent going rate for the neck or what have you, and probably the most expensive part was the PAF pickup.
Yeah, exactly.
But even then, you could probably find a fair amount of PAF pickups back in the day, because we're talking the mid '70s when everyone was throwing DiMarzio super distortions in their Les Pauls.
And everything, they were all surplus, basically, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
OG, another gold top Les Paul, whatever.
Yeah. So to your point, really, you can buy a relatively inexpensive guitar, and a couple of $100 thrown in, it's going to be a killer guitar. Or you could, just like your EVH brand, you could. There's nothing that comes out of that brand that is bad. You could buy the cheapest one. Again, you may need to make a couple of tweaks if you want it perfect to your liking, but for the most part, you're getting an amazing instrument.
Yep.
For a really damn good price.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I've played several price points of the EVH stuff, and I don't think I've played an American one, but I don't need to. Like I played up as far as a Mexican one, and I know the build quality, and it's like, okay, well, I know a Mexican telly versus an American telly, and I expect the same from EVH. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See you, old man Dan?
Terry just said, earlier, I'm sorry, I'm a little slow in the chat here, guys. I always am. Just be. It says, I just seen the bonus on that. I got XLR on the back of that machete amp. What do you mean, Terry?
So with the XLR output, that's a line out, so you can go directly into the mixer board.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're playing on stage, they wouldn't have to mic your amp. They can just run a line out.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. Yep. I can. One. You know what? Maybe next time when we pop on again, I'll show off that amp.
Sure.
That amplifier is probably my. Somebody asked in the chat earlier, and I apologize. We were talking here. That's probably my favorite amp because it's an all trick pony, not a one trick pony. Okay, it basically can do anything. It's got 5 different selection for dampening on it.
Nice.
That's, that's just it. Literally is a ridiculously versatile amplifier, and again, very heavy, but it has the Fender chime, those cleans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thing's a beast.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
One of these days we'll.
I've been a purveyor of Fender amps for years.
No, Fender's.
Like I think I can count probably on one hand the amount of gigs I played without a Fender amp.
Okay, they are. I mean, people can argue it, but they are the best of the business as far as what they do and how they do. Yeah. Gibson can't get out of their own way. Don't get me wrong. I have a Les Paul. I love Gibsons. I love a Les Paul. Les Paul is it. And again, I just thought if I never saw him, I want to hit myself in the head. But but Fender has it. They did. It's just there's something about that company. They know what they're doing. They really do. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing things right for some time now. Basically since the last ownership change, I haven't really seen a wayward step other than the Fender pedals that came out a few years ago. But I get it. But the new Fender pedals are awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Now here's a question, and I don't know the answer because I've never played one. Any thoughts on Seymour's new custom version of the new Frankenstein pickups, not the Fender version? And Stan Adams, and hi Stan.
I'm curious. I haven't heard one myself. I'm curious if it's another iteration of the Duncan 78, maybe, because the Duncan 78 is modeled after the pickup Seymour rewound for Eddie back in the day, is my understanding.
Okay. So
so many things went through that Frankenstein guitar. We don't even know, what was what, right? What pickup was in it really, and
and the thing of it is does Eddie even know? And he probably does. But my point is, he's changed so many.
Oh things. Yeah. Like some people say, well, it was the PAF pickup, but then we know Seymour rewound a pickup for Eddie. Is that the one that's and is that the same PAF?
And Eddie's smart enough to know, even if he knows it 100%, he's probably going to take it to the grave, and then maybe Wolfie will put it out there. I mean,
you'll see a YouTube premiere video of Wolfgang at a workbench with Frankie, and look at the bottom of the pickup, folks.
Yeah, here it is. And
we're dissecting Dad's guitar,
right? It keeps that mystery about him.
Yeah.
Now, because let's be real. Put it on that first album, the second, third, fourth album, the tone. That freaking tone.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we know it's largely the same guitar, the same amp, But then also Eddie was getting into modulation after the first, well, even with the first album with the phaser, you know, phaser, then the flanger, then the chorus, then the detune.
Denny,
I remember
I'm 59, but immature. My brain is still 18. You're 18.
Yeah,
I'm about 8.
Well, I remember telling my bass player Larry, I said, Larry, when I grow up, I want to be you. And he says, you can't be both.
Nice. So any other questions in the chat, guys? Deep Purple, saw them live.
Nice.
Yep. Love Richie Blackmore, one of my favorites. What do you think about Richie?
That band brought out a lot of talent, you know, because they went through so many lineup changes, you know.
Yeah. What do you think of Richie, by the way?
Great player, definitely. Bit of an odd duck.
Oh, he's an odd duck, to say the least. Yeah, I agree.
You know? He's a bit of a taskmaster from what I've heard, but I get it because he wants perfection.
And he's getting so much blowback. I know you see this. We all see this online about the comments he made about Joe Satriani and, you know, how people that play that intricate and perfect don't have any emotion and aren't afraid to take challenges. And I'm like, I couldn't disagree more. That's my opinion.
Well, I thought of that when I heard that, I compared it to my dad. My dad's famous line, like when I got into punk rock, thrash metal, he said, if you can't whistle it, it's not a song.
I would counter that with, if it sounds good, it is good.
Exactly.
AKA Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can whistle a lot of Eddie's stuff.
Eddie, that's another point, right? I mean, I know I've mentioned this probably ad nauseum for anybody that's ever, you know, watched me on here. As an amazing guitar player, as far as soloist, he is one of the best writers, rhythm guitar players ever. The stuff that he writes is phenomenal. I mean, his rhythm playing to me is it matches his soloing. It really does.
And all the nuances, like I'm sure you're the same way as me. Is like when you learn a Van Halen song, we learn the gist of a Van Halen song. You know, Caleb learns a Van Halen song, but we're not Caleb. So you know, we just learn a plausible version that I go, hey Mike, check this out. And you go, hey, isn't that insert song title? That happened to me today, actually, while I was waiting for you. Remember, I said I got lost playing and I didn't even realize it was 2 minutes to 8 when I looked up. Because I get a feeling of satisfaction when I learn a Van Halen song more than any other band. And for me tonight, it was I learned the gist of Secrets.
Nice.
And already I'm like, I got to get to Richie's place and grab his 12 string because I want to hear me playing this with a 12. And it was just, I started doing the verse runs and I was just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. And I was getting goosebumps, you know?
Yep. And you're right about Caleb, by the way. Well, he's a beast of a guitar player, man.
Yeah.
And also, you'll meet him, obviously, next month.
Yeah.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever be in the presence of.
Yeah, I cannot wait to give him a bear hug for sure.
He's aces, man. Caleb is a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he the last time he was on, somebody was asking a lesson on tapping. So he gave a little exercise on tapping. And I've incorporated that exercise since then. So,
as you should, by the way, because that guy is a beast, man. He can play.
Yeah. Not that I will ever use tapping in my playing.
No, but it's another extension. You know, you don't have to go crazy. You can incorporate it into a tune, right?
Exactly. And that was the fun. And I noticed too, it really cramped up my hands fast. So that told me different muscles are being used.
Yeah.
So it's going to help me. It may not, like I say, I may never tap in a song live, but it might keep my hand from cramping in an hour and a half set.
That's right. Yep. Because you're actually strengthening up your hand muscles. That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're doing as a guitarist.
Exactly.
Yep.
Eddie whistling Van Halen album might rock. That's a good one, Stan.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Stan Adams says, hum, a whistling Van Halen song might rock. Ha!
Nice. Okay. The dog paw, or PA, and dog paw. I'm going to say dog paw. I like that. Richie is not an ass. He hates the idea of fans and treats those that bother him badly. He's a very nice guy, decent guy. Listen, Richie, I'll tell you, I mean, Dog Paw, said Richie. I'm not saying he's an ass by any stretch. He's one of my favorite guitar players ever. Um, he just has the way about him, right? I mean, he speaks his opinion. In fact, I was watching one of my other, and you know, I have so many different musical tastes. Just who I am. One of my favorite bands ever and favorite musicians ever, believe it or not, is John Lydon.
Okay.
AKA Johnny Rotten. I've seen PIL a bunch of times. I saw the Sex Pistols when he got the original band guys together. So I love the guy. He's as honest as the day is long, man. He will tell you to your face what he thinks, and it's an opinion. A lot of people hate him for that.
Yeah.
I admire a man like that. You know, I'll tell you my opinion. You know, now I would never be, my motto has always been treat me good, I'll treat you better. I believe that's the way the world should be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be an asshole to be one.
Hey, Johnny Beane.
But I'm going to tell you my opinion. Johnny Beane.
Quick hello from Five Guys.
Five Guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, Johnny was very busy tonight. He was going to possibly jump in if he had time, but he didn't have time. So, but thanks for hopping in, Johnny. That's awesome.
Cool. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I would say in that category of like speaking their mind, you know, like Elvis Costello gets a bad rap.
Yes.
You know, for what? Speaking his opinion. That isn't necessarily the same opinion as everyone else.
Everybody has a different opinion. You know the old joke, right? So we all do, right?
Yeah.
Just don't be an idiot about it. It's just the way I look at it. You know, how about this? Let me change that. Don't force your opinion on somebody. State it, whatever it is. Move on.
Yep.
You know, and that's how I think actually Richie is. He's just telling his opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people, you know, we're all over him for something like that. As far as I'm concerned, he hasn't gone down in my book, you know.
Oh yeah.
I love the guy. I think the guy's a great guitar player.
Yeah, I revisited was it the Perfect Strangers album that came out in the mid 80s?
Yeah, great album. Saw that tour, by the way. Awesome.
Like, you know, you listen to that album, and it was like a lot of people were making the comebacks, you know, like the decade into their careers and stuff, and updated their sounds accordingly for the 80s. Not Deep Purple.
No,
they were just,
that's a great observation, dude.
You know, because otherwise John Lord should
play Purple,
not an organ.
That perfect look at that. They were like, here's us. This is us. This is Purple. You like it or not?
Yeah.
I loved it. And I saw the tour.
Yeah.
No.
Pink Floyd, same way. Yeah, when they got back together towards the end of the 80s, they were still Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it works.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, there's a reason your fans are coming out to see you play and want to hear the older stuff. If you can write more stuff in that vein, God bless you.
Yeah, I think the perfect example of all time, in my opinion, for something like that is AC/DC.
Yeah.
You know AC/DC the second you hear a riff.
Yep.
That's it. That's who is this? There's no question of who you're listening to. And it works.
Exactly.
It works. And Malcolm, I know most people know that. Malcolm wrote just about all those tunes. Yeah. He was a driving force, which is going to be fascinating, by the way. Think about it, really, right? The next AC/DC album, which they're working on, they all got together up there in your part of the woods, right?
Yep.
That's going to be fascinating because I don't know now. Maybe somebody in the chat or you know, Ben. I don't know if they're using stuff that Malcolm had written previously.
Yeah, they still have some riffs. I guess Malcolm, when he knew, that his hands were going, because remember, his hands were going before the memory, right?
Okay.
Because Stevie had been jumping in on tours for some time and stuff. And so he sat down with a tape recorder, what have you, and just went, here's a riff, here's a riff, here's a riff, here's a riff. Or here's a chord progression, because really it's not so much riffs as a chord progression or a feel. Like, my God, how many songs by AC/DC are A, G, and D? But
yeah,
it's how you play them, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's what amazes me about AC/DC. And I just keep revisiting that band in the last couple of years, like especially the Bon Scott stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
You know, I
By the
just
way, everybody, the AC/DC fan, and kind of likes Bon Scott. My favorite song, by the way, that AC/DC has ever written, because I think it's Angus's best solo, hands down. This is my opinion again. Is "Whole Lotta Rosie."
That's a good one.
And that is obviously with Bon Scott. But pick up, it's an album called Bonfire, and it has all the older stuff. And if you want to get into, if you want to see how the band started, I guess, and really just cut their teeth, buy that album.
Yeah, I'd say for me, Riff Raff is maybe my favorite song.
Oh, great!
And I love playing it. Oh my, want to talk an exercise and playing Riff Raff for sure.
Hey, Johnny Bean's buying hamburgers for everyone.
Yay! And JJ's got the fries.
Man, I tell you right now. See, that's why you got to go to NAMM, because you don't have to ever buy burgers or fries, because JJ and Johnny they're treating everybody.
Yeah. Well, and JJ's got an in-and-out burger right around the corner.
I told you those were awesome dudes.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna feed us too. I love it.
Yeah. Will Humble Pie, Steve Marriott, and Peter Frampton. Talk about a double bill.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly.
I love Steve Marriott. Love Steve Marriott, and he almost joined the Stones until Mick said no. They were looking at him. I forget. Initially, right after Mick Taylor left, they were looking at Steve Marriott, but then they realized he was a little too much of a front man, and Mick didn't like that idea.
Really?
Yeah. But my God, can you imagine what the Stones would have done with Steve Marriott in the band? Because people forget Keith was the rhythm player.
That's I mean, it is what it is. It's history, right? But that's what gets me. Ego. How many different collaborations have been destroyed because of ego? So.
Oh yeah, most of them.
Yeah, well, good point. Ego or money, right?
Yep.
And money is
money. People say ego, money, and drugs, but I think money and drugs bring out the ego.
It inflates it, definitely. I can tell you that much.
Exactly. And especially depending on what substance you're on or what have you, right?
Yeah. Back in 1 sec.
Dogpuss says, old Bon Scott is what I like best. Got a good backing for Rosie, so I get to be Angus daily. Nice. I think I just learned a whole lot of Rosie just a few months ago. Thank you, Terry, for posting that.
Okay, I said 1 second. That was 18.7 seconds. Yeah, a whole lot of Rosie, man. That's something about that song on the album version. The live versions are great too. Put the album version on for those of you. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this chat obviously has heard it, but put it on. Put your headphones on, close your eyes, and just listen to Angus from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Listen to the soloing, the sound, the aggressiveness. That's a mean song.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the aggressiveness of that song.
Oh yeah.
It does it for me, man. That tune is freaking awesome.
And just guitars and amps. Just guitars and amps.
I posted up something a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, when I forget what magazine did it, but they did a rig rundown. And they did Angus's and they did not Malcolm's, but
Stevie.
Yeah, Stevie's. And on Angus's, it was interesting because literally it's guitar plugged into amp and that's it.
Yeah.
It has different heads and they tweak it a little bit, but 99% of his sound is literally plug into a Marshall. Here's your Gibson SG, 68, I think was one of them. He has a few of them that he plays all the time, by the way. Another thing.
Yeah.
What we were saying earlier, like your old man, right? The same guitar over and over again. Here is a multi-million-dollar worldwide star.
Yeah.
He's never changed it. He's exactly what he started with.
That's true.
And that's why when you go to a live show, they sound basically, the sound is always the same. Yeah.
There's
no smoke.
Basically, they're just going to tweak the EQ on the amp a bit for the room, and that's it.
Yes. Exactly. That's what they do. You're right, 100%. And Angus goes to every single one of those, and he listens. And his tech is there, obviously, and they tweak it, and then he leaves. He puts his stamp of approval on every single show.
Yep.
That's a professional right there, man.
Yeah. Well, that reminded me of if you haven't seen it, they did a new rig rundown on the Edge in the last while, and the fact
that
like. The Edge is big on like, well, I used the Explorer on this song. I used a Strat on that song, for instance. And it's like, so he's got his 73 Explorer. Well, he's got 3 backups, but they're all other 73 Explorers. Like they have to be the same production year.
Really?
Same Strats. Yeah, all of his guitars. He has multiples, but they're all the same year. And then he has the tech go measure the pickup output. And if there's any kind of variance, he has to add a resistor or a capacitor into the circuit. So every guitar has identical output.
That is awesome, man. Think of how detailed that is.
Yeah, it was great. And he was saying how, like, it could be like a little 1K resistor that we would never hear the difference. Hand him a guitar and he'll go out and play one chord and go, nope, give me the right guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever see the movie, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way, because I love all 3 guitar players. It Might Get Loud.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna Get Loud, I should say. Gonna Get Loud? It Might Get Loud. That movie is great, and that's a perfect thing, to your point, as far as the Edge, when he's showing his board.
Yep.
And he's like, here's what I'm playing. He's playing 2 notes. Don't. He goes, here's what you're hearing. Wow, 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 wow. And that's from, what's the name of the song? Elevation, yep.
Yeah,
and you hear he's playing 2 notes, but he uses the board to Black Star's slogan, the sound in your head.
Right.
That's their slogan. That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. And a lot of people, I hear a lot of guitar players all the time. Friends of mine, I should say, well, guitar players also, but cheating, not the same. I'm like, okay. Next time the U2 tours, I guarantee you there's not an empty seat in the house.
That's right.
Doing something right. Okay? He's
on a global level.
On a global level. He's making music.
That band, they picked up right where Queen left off.
Oh, okay. And
because when you think about it, when Freddie passed, that was right after, in around Rattle and Hum. And then they just went boom and took off. And because Bono had that charisma that Freddie had, not quite as much, because nobody's going to have Freddie's charisma.
No.
But, they weren't doing we're playing 50,000 seats tonight, but we're only playing 15 tomorrow night. And then we're doing 40, and then we're doing 25. It's 80 across the board. Right?
Yeah. I've seen U2 a bunch of times. They are a good band live, man. They are a fun band to watch live. And they sound great. Their sound.
They do it right with the whole leapfrogging of the trucks because it takes 2 days to set up. So they always have 2 sets of stages and everything else.
Yeah, whenever they tour, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it takes usually their average. Think of this. Their average is like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they're touring the globe, but also because of the prep that they put into their shows. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, total package there.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, folks, I think I'm going to wrap things up. We've gone 3 hours. Jeez Louise.
No, really?
Yeah.
Moly, it is 9 o'clock here. So it's 11 your time. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
I did not. Time flies.
Do you have anything to add, my good friend?
Well, yeah, I do. First of all, thank you for inviting me on the show. It's an honor, as always. Thank everybody in the chat. And hopefully I'll be able to see everybody at NAMM, whoever's going. And even if you live in the area, right, and you can't get passes or whatever, come to the hangout, man. Come to the room. It's out there. All the information. PM myself or Ben or whatever. Even if I don't score passes, I'll be more than happy to give you the information. Let's get together, man. Let's have a great time. That's what it's all about. So
yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Fully agree.
Yep.
Fully agree on that. I definitely recommend you go down and talk to Ike at Flipside. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I I will. My phone's been dinging, but I haven't looked at it since I'm on here. But
Yeah.
hopefully that's one of the friend requests. So, and either way, passes or not, I'm gonna go check them out. So we're gonna hang out.
There we go.
Yeah, that's happening.
There we go. Yeah, and I want to thank everyone in the chat. It's awesome. We had some new names in the chat tonight. That's awesome. I always like to see new people. I like to see all the regulars as well that have been around since day one. That's awesome. And as I always say, hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic and do good things, and good things will happen to you. We're proof we're living the dream, folks. So everyone have a great, safe rest of your night. Cheers and rock on.
Keep on rocking, everybody. God bless.